Happy Friday Night Live on a Thursday because it's December 23rd and December 24th is family stuff over at my house. But I've got my OMG, it's Santa, I know him sweatshirt on. I got new glasses. They are a little darker than I intended, but hopefully we'll cut down on the headaches and make it a little easier for me to track some of the things we read live. Tonight is going to be a fun stream. We are going to cover the big things happening in our weekly roundup. I have an announcement that I shared on social, but would love to share with all of you here live. If you follow me on Instagram, you will know that I was intending to bring the champs, and I did. We went full champs. I'm going to have to start keeping my drinks over on the right-hand side because I moved my mic. I'm very excited. So we are going to talk about what's going on. I appreciate you law nerds for being law nerds. Some of the topics we're going to cover in Weekly Roundup can be contentious. I appreciate you guys knowing that this is a celebration stream and we can all have different opinions about the people that we're talking about, but we are still law nerds, and law nerds are classy. And I appreciate all of you. We should just get into it. So in the weekly roundup, we are covering what's going on with Maxwell, Holmes, and the Kim Potter verdict. Then an announcement from me. And then Q&A, because we streamed, we us law nerds, streamed for like almost 4 hours on Tuesday, and I didn't get to questions and I didn't get to all the super chats. And I want to do that tonight. So I'm going to go back through some of those from Tuesday, and we're just going to do all the things. So thank you all for understanding. I will talk about my glasses too. These are fun. I have like Edna mode vibes with them, but the Erlin lenses are for tracking ADHD. They do help me with headaches, and they help me read because I am dyslexic. So I didn't realize how faded my other lenses had become until I got my new ones. And I was like, oh, it's darker than we expected. So I'm going to be working on adjusting my lights now that we have some new glasses. But for now, this is what we've got. We got a holiday stream going on. Let me know where you're coming in from, what you're drinking. After we talk about the criminal cases that are going on, I'm going to pop the bubbly because it feels weird to pop it while we're talking about, people going to prison and stuff. It just feels out of alignment for me. So let's roll into this. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being a law nerd. If you have not yet subscribed, we're at 190K. Awesome. I'm so excited. I'm beyond thrilled to be here with y'all tonight. You can tell I'm a little excited. We should just get into it. Hey there. If we haven't met yet, I'm Emily D. Baker, the badass lawyer and everyone's favorite legal commentator. I'm the host of The Emily Show, and I break down the legal shit behind the news and pop culture stories we all want to talk about. I have been a licensed attorney for over 15 years, but this is not legal advice. I should warn you, I'm a big fan of the Cursey words. This channel is where the law nerds unite to talk about facts, not fuckery. Oh, y'all know how I feel about root beer whiskey. Today would have been a traditional whiskey stream, but we just went for the bubbly tonight. So with the bubbly, we had to just go for it. Matt the Future Esquire said, hey, Emily, can't wait until Tuesday. I'm a proud owner of a 2020 MacBook Pro, and I'll receive it tomorrow, hopefully. Love to the mods. Not drinking right now. Matt the Future ESQ. Enjoy the new Matt book. It's a Matt book now. My brain has just made that so. It is now a Matt book. And for those of you that are just drinking water, don't you worry. We've got plenty of that too. We got to stay hydrated. Tonight will be a little bit of a Christmas wrapping. I can never get my shit together to wrap, barely before Christmas Eve. Because I just can't. Also, like, the spirit does not move me. And with that, I'm also afraid to like wrap stuff and then put it away and then have it get damaged and then have to rewrap it. And I don't want to do the work twice. So I just procrastinate till the last minute. And that's what we're going to be doing later. So if you are doing that while I am streaming, then yay. Let us get to the weekly roundup. KD said, when you said you were at 190, I accidentally declared what out loud with my headphones on. My roommates are looking at me with confusion. Kay, we'll celebrate with the roommates. I know the growth on this channel has been incredible, and I'm very excited. I feel like Well, okay, we'll get festive after we talk about 3 criminal prosecutions. We're gonna talk about the criminal prosecutions, then we will get festive because again, it feels like a little solemnity is needed when it comes to criminal stuff, right? It just does. That salted caramel whiskey from Old Smoky is so good. I love it. All right, let's weekly roundup. Let's round it up. All right. So the Maxwell, the Jolene, Ghislaine, the Ghislaine Maxwell. Now I can't say the last name. I try to do the first name and then the last name escapes me. The Ghislaine Maxwell case is with the jury. They closed and the jury is on break for the holidays. So the jury has deliberated for 16 hours. They will resume deliberation on Monday. She is facing 6 counts. She can only really be sentenced on 3 counts. It is 3 counts of things. And we're not going to get into the detail of the things. I have other episodes here covering it, but it's 3 counts of doing the things and 3 counts of conspiracy to do the things. So it's like the thing, the criminal agreement to do the thing, the other thing, the criminal agreement to do the other thing, and so on. So in that, you can't be sentenced to both the agreement to do the thing and the doing the thing. So we will see what the jury decides. It's a lot to cover. The jury heard a lot of evidence. I think they're trying to decide how to parse, based on their questions, how to parse the different testimony and the different victim testimony, etc. So that's what's going on in that case. The jury will be back on Monday. I'll be very interested to see what they do. Do they convict her of the things or do they convict her of the agreement to do the things? I think if they convict her of the things, how do you not convict of the agreement to do the things? But I could see where they don't convict her of the things, finding maybe, hey, he's the one more responsible for it. So she is part of the conspiracy. So that is possible. And we will see. So I'm not surprised that they are not deliberating tomorrow. I'm not surprised. They, I think, went home yesterday and said they weren't coming back today and are like, no. They've been in trial for quite a while and will come back. The Holmes jury is also now on break and should be resuming on Monday. They had some interesting stuff going on. Now, the Elizabeth Holmes case is the Theranos case. I'm very excited for Amanda Seyfried to play Elizabeth Holmes in a Hulu special that will be coming out. But the jury asked for something very interesting. First, the jury asked to take the jury instructions home and read them. We saw this also happen in the Rittenhouse case. In the Rittenhouse case, the court said yes. In this case, the court said, hell no, you can't take the jury instructions home. Deliberations happen in the jury room. So their request to take the jury instructions home was denied. And this afternoon, Thursday, December, what day is it? Thursday, December 23rd. The time stands still this time of year for me. I never know what day it is. The jury asked to rehear a recorded investor call and rehear what she said on that investor call. So when they are talking about whether or not Elizabeth Holmes defrauded investors, I think it's an interesting thing that the jury wants to hear that call in her own words, where she said to the investors here. I'm going to go through a little bit of the Law 360 article about this because it's really well done and it kind of describes that call in better detail. And my memory's all over the place today. So we're just gonna share. We're just gonna go from the article and cover that because it's easy. And because I've got my computer glasses on, so we can do that. All right. So the 12-person jury set a question to play back multiple clips from a 2013 call with the investor group. The individual who recorded the call testified at trial. The judge allowed the jury to listen to the clips again, calling jurors into the courtroom to play the clips, and then they returned to deliberation. In the clips they requested, Holmes stated that the startup had a number of contracts with the military and pharmaceutical companies that they were going to pause in order to focus on scaling up and rolling out devices to retail stores. We know from the testimony at trial that there were no military contracts and there were no contracts with pharmaceutical companies at that time. They were getting ready to roll out in Walgreens. Holmes stated that Theranos devices can get people tested frequently without variability in results, which and Theranos uses fresh blood draws from finger sticks and not a big series of tubes of blood sitting on a counter that decay when they're sent to centralized labs. We also know from the testimony that the blood testing from Theranos when they rolled out in Walgreens was sent to a centralized lab. Holmes explains on the call that Theranos shares went from 82 per share to 75 per share. And although they were already creating significant value, the company is just getting started. And that Theranos was valued at $7 billion, but that it was spending a lot of time scaling infrastructure, trying to reactivate its pharmaceutical deals. So whether they say they're pausing them, is that misleading? Are they trying to reactivate them? Is it misleading saying you paused a deal if you don't have a deal? Like, is that a pause? If you don't have the thing, how can you pause it? So it's really now a question of how fast we will scale. She said on the call, the fact that we will scale is a given. The jury's note is the second to the court since jurors retired to deliberate at the close of trial this week or last week. During the second full day of deliberations, they asked to take the jury instructions home, and we know that the judge said no. So that's what's going on with the Holmes trial. We will see this jury back on Monday. Will we have a verdict in this case before the new year? This trial has been going on for months. They really just went into deliberation not all that long ago because there was a pause after closing. There was a pause before closing arguments. They rested the trial, and then there was like a 4 or 5 day gap before closing arguments started on the 16th. So the jury hasn't had this case all that long. Allison Lovebug, it's good to see you. So let us go to our last topic of our weekly roundup before we get to exciting news for me, and I'll share because I can't wait. But we've got to talk about the Kim Potter verdict. I feel like this one gets a swoop because we're going to be talking about this for a mini-min, even though it's a weekly roundup. The Kim Potter verdict out of Minnesota. I'm sure if all of you watch LawTube, lots of LawTube was saying that this verdict is going to be a not guilty. The jury came back in early days saying, what happens if we can't reach a verdict? And the judge is like, go back and keep trying. And they came to a verdict today and convicted Kim Potter on 2 counts, first-degree manslaughter and second-degree manslaughter. I know there are lots of feelings about this verdict. I am not going to undermine a jury's verdict. I am going to talk about what the discrepancies some are finding in the law to be and how a jury can reach this verdict or not. So with that, Kim Potter is the taser police officer that shot and killed Dante Wright. Her defense essentially was she can't have a reckless disregard, which is what the first degree and second degree manslaughter both require, a reckless disregard. And you can't have a reckless disregard if you don't think you have a gun. So you can't recklessly disregard shooting a gun if you think what's in your hand is a taser. She testified, and it is valid that a jury could just not believe her, not believe that she mistook one for the other, not believe what she said in testimony. A criminal jury is the ultimate finder of fact. So if the jury decided that the facts were that she knew she had a gun, then the jury can find that she had a reckless disregard when she fired that weapon. So they are the ultimate finder of fact. The interesting thing on the law is whether or not in closing argument, the prosecution either misstated or muddied that standard. And if the prosecution misstated that standard, when this goes up on appeal, then this can be overturned on appeal because they would have argued to the jury the wrong legal standard. So when we talk about this case, we talk about the legal differences because again, the jury gets to decide the facts here, not us. And we get to see the facts, we get to take a look at the facts, and we can come to our own determination. But again, the jury that watched all of this testimony determines the facts. So, with the first degree and second degree manslaughter, they have to find that someone is reckless, not just negligent. And in Minnesota, the case law really goes into defining negligence as someone who's not aware of the risk, but should have been aware of the risk. So if you're looking at that, you're going, okay, she carried her gun and her taser on separate sides. Should she have been aware of the risk that she could pull the wrong one and she just wasn't aware, but should have been aware that that's her risk, or should have been aware that the taser is the risk? But negligence is not the standard. It seems that the jury conflated, or the prosecution could have, I didn't mean jury, the prosecution could have conflated those standards, because the reckless disregard standard is that somebody is aware of the risk and disregards it. And so a lot of you will see people who feel like, look, you're an officer of 20 plus years. There's no way you're confusing the two. We believe the prosecution's expert on this, not the defense expert on this. And it's not that you should have been aware of the risk and weren't. It's that you are aware of the risk and you disregarded the risk. And the jury gets to decide if she was aware of the risk and disregarded the risk. So it seems that that's what they've done, because they've convicted her on both the first degree and second degree manslaughter. Both carry prison time. She was taken into custody pending sentencing. I didn't see the date of the sentencing, so we will see. I mean, there are accidents that happen all the time that are not criminally prosecuted, but is there a different standard when you are an experienced police officer or not? So the jury in this case said yes under the law, though I think that there will be, you guys all said February 9th, February 18th, sometime in February, which is an appropriate amount of time. This case will be appealed. Most criminal convictions are appealed. That's not something that's weird or strange or different or wild. But this will be appealed. If there are a number of issues the defense raised during this case that were reserved for appeal, and the appellate court will have to review that standard and decide whether that standard was misstated by the prosecution, and whether the defense objected and maintained that objection for sentencing. So again, I'm not going to undermine a jury's verdict. They get to be the finder of fact, not me. They might not have believed her at all, and that is their right to do. They are ultimately the jury. So that's where we are with the Kim Potter. I know, again, that it's a hot button issue, but I think that talking about the standards here are appropriate. I do think that when we're saying someone's recklessly aware of the risk and disregards it, that just being a police officer isn't aware of the risk. Like, the fact that you are a police officer isn't enough to say, well, you're aware of a risk that you could kill someone, because when you look at other types of cases, that logic doesn't square for me. It has to be beyond that. Like, when you are ultimately holding a weapon and you are, shooting it. No, well, police officers wouldn't do that. But if you have a weapon and you shoot it somewhere not at your intended target, that is a perhaps reckless and conscious disregard for the risk. So whether or not picking the wrong, because no one said it wasn't a mistake that she grabbed the taser or grabbed the gun instead of the taser, whether or not just carrying both is the risk that she should be aware of, could change the fact that police don't carry tasers, which I don't know if that is the right result either. So ultimately, the jury is the finder of fact. I think that the family of Daunte Wright will probably feel that there is relief for them. I'm sure the family of Kim Potter will feel that she is being prosecuted for a mistake that she made at work. And I don't think there's going to be rectifying those two sides, because those are the people the most intricately involved in this. And just know that there will be an appeal. We will see what happens on appeal. The biggest issue I see is the potential for what if the prosecution muddied that case in closing. But I didn't watch the entire trial. I don't know if there are other more appealable issues. That's the one that stands out in my mind. So that is what we are covering. That's what we've covered now. Ultimately, the jury's the finder of fact, and you guys can decide how you feel about it. That's what it is. So we just need to we are going to swoop, and we're going to swoop and move on. Thank you, Law Nerds, for being a place for considered and conscientious conversation. I very much appreciate you. I'm going to do a few super chats. It's great to see some friends in the chat, always friends in the chat. And it's great to see some super chats. So let's swoop and get on to a fun announcement and some champagne, because the criminal cases we've been trying are heavy. They really, really are. And it's time. We're swooping. Look, and we're going to turn this on too. It has lights. So we are going to allow, I don't have a wide, I moved my lens and now I don't get to always show my lights. All right, we're swooping, we're popping champs, and we're talking. We're going to pop some champs. Octonation, it's good to see you in the chat, friend. Congrats on ABC. We're going to talk about ABC right now. And then I am going to have a podcast up for I Have Thoughts on the Law Nerd community on Patreon on that topic soon, about what that was like behind the scenes. Sister Babylon, hit that like 2.1K. Oh, we're now almost at 3K watching, but only 165 likes. You guys can always hit that like and subscribe. So good to see you, Allison. Thank you for the super stickers, friends. We were all texting a little bit before this and chatting about it. Hello, Celine. Drinking mezcal, delish. Thank you for the stickers. Octo's like just gone super sticker crazy. April, it's so good to see you, friend. Thank you so much. You guys, April, I share April and Allison and Octo over on the Instagrams all the time, so you can find them. They are amazing humans. And I am blessed to know them IRL and on the internet. Let us start to pop this while we talk. Dawn said, congratulations. I'm so excited for you. I'll be watching. For all of you that are like, what are you talking about? We're going to talk about this. Thank you, Cherie. I did post a community post, but I'm going to pull it up here too, so I can share this announcement with all of you while we're live, because we just talk about the things while we're live, right? That's what we do here. So last month I went and filmed for ABC's primetime special, The Year 2021, anchored by Robin Roberts. It is, well, I'm just going to tell you what they say while I try to also open this, because it's like missing, there's like normally a little doohickey, and it's got the fancy champagne's always the hardest to open. It's supposed to have the little like pull tab so you can, there we go. I just couldn't find it. We are professionals here, people, most of the time, especially when it comes to drinking the champagne. As 2021 comes to a close, ABC News announced its annual 2-hour primetime special highlighting the biggest moments of a historic year. With the country still fighting COVID-19, a groundbreaking inauguration, the Capitol insurrection, and continued protests for racial justice, 2021 proved to be a year unlike any other in modern day history. Good Morning America co-anchor Robin Roberts anchors The Year 2021 alongside a team of ABC News anchors and correspondents on Monday, December 27th, 9 p.m. Eastern and Pacific. So it'll air at 9 p.m. on the East Coast and 9 p.m. On the West Coast as well. Watch the special on demand and on Hulu the day following the premiere. The Year 2021 features reports on the history-defining events of the year, including breakthroughs in space explorations and vaccines, the race to save the planet from global warming, and how America continues to rebuild and reopen following 2 years of living in a pandemic, as well as the most talked about times in pop culture. That's where I come in. Such as milestones in movies and television. And then it goes on and lists everyone that is involved. And your girl is the legal analyst for the show, The Year 2021. I'm happy that I'm at the end of the list because A, I'm like, who am I to be in this company of everyone anyway? I am just blown away by the company that is in here. And B, I'm like, I mean, I often call myself a legal commentator here on YouTube, but I mean, with over 15 years as an attorney, I guess legal analyst also fits. We'll take it. We're just embracing it. We'll embrace it. We do legal analysis here. Commentary is so much more accessible to me, but no, we'll do it. We're doing a legal analysis for ABC, but also joined by writer and podcast producer Danny Pellegrino, Love Island USA narrator Matt Hoffman, Michael Phelps, Katie Nolan, and a lot of the regulars from ABC. So I am just really excited to be part of this primetime special. It is so weird to be part of something where I don't have control of editing. Thank you, Peggy Cole. Thank you, Octo. It has been a whirlwind of a year. I like it that you're like, analysis is cool. I mean, I think we're kind of a legal analyst. I mean, or we just play one on YouTube. I'm a real lawyer, but also I play one on the internet, which is just hilarious. So I'm very excited to be a part of it. We're going to just hope that this goes well. Did you see Fred? Fred was like, what is happening? Go back to sleep, Fred. It's fine. Yep, just champagne. We're all good here. We're all good, buddy. I was really excited when they reached out to do this. And again, we have just been over here in our little corner of the internet, the law nerds all together, hanging out and chatting about the law and talking about the facts, not the fuckery. I remembered to not curse throughout like over a 3-hour interview. Well, that I might have cursed once or twice, but they will edit down everything that we talked about and see what comes out in the wash. I will not see it. I will see it live with all y'all. I have no idea. I was nervous to share. I'm like, it could be literally 2 minutes of me. We don't know. We'll see what happens when it airs on Monday. I'm very, very excited. And it was fun. And they filmed here in Nashville. There was a country music star that was a part of it. I am totally blanking on which one. Hold on. Country music star Jimmy Allen. So I think that they happened to be in Nashville to film with Jimmy Allen. So I got to film with them too while they were in Nashville because we had been back and forth about whether I would fly to LA to film or not. And then they were like, oh, we'll be in Nashville. Can we do that? And I'm like, yes, please. We can. So we talked about mostly pop culture cases. We talked a lot of Britney, Housewives, and we talked some of the other notable cases for the year. So that's where we are at. Lynn said, my therapist was telling me to identify the facts among everything. I mumbled facts, not fuckery. My therapist burst out laughing and now uses the phrase, cheers. I love that because it really is. And sometimes our brains tell us things that are not facts. And you're like, oh, there's the fuckery. There's the fuckery. My brain pulls fuckery too. I totally get it. Thank you for giving me joy through this hard year. You are absolutely welcome, Chantel. Thank you for being here and thank you for being a law nerd. Look, I will tell you that so many of you say thank you for bringing me joy, but truly, law nerds, you bring me joy too. This is the community I want to be in on the internet. This is the space where I want to have conversation too. And it always feels supportive and it always feels like we're having great conversation and some laughs. And it feels like always such a welcome place to be on the internet. And that's because of your dedication to also having conversations, also being compassionate to each other, and also bringing the facts. And it really does touch my heart. And I was nervous to share it. That's some of my own fuckery being like, I don't want to brag on myself. Cause like in the back of my head, there's still a little voice like, well, who do you think you are? I'm like, I don't know. I'm going to channel my inner Mariah Carey and be like, no, I have 15 years of legal experience. I've worked in Congress. I worked for judges. I worked as a district attorney. I prosecuted everything from tax crimes and white collar crimes and computer crimes to homicides and gang cases. And I've worked in civil. I've worked with entrepreneurs. I actually know my shit, and I should be able to just be like, hey, ABC also appreciates that I know my shit and was willing to have on a sassy purple-haired lawyer to say, hey, legal lawyers don't all fit one kind of mold, and you can be different and be an attorney. And it's when we were talking about Kim Kardashian wanting to become a lawyer, and I was saying, good, do it. Law needs all people from all walks of life, and maybe not Tom Girardi, but you need people from different backgrounds. You need people that never had lawyers in their family who aren't like, well, I'm a seventh generation. All of my family are judges, like the Murdaugh family. You need people who didn't grow up in, wealthy upper class neighborhoods. You need people who are neurodivergent and diverse. The law needs it. And so if me being able to share that inspires people who are like, I didn't think law was for me, but now I can bring my unique voice, my background, my experience, my life to something where change can be made, then it's all the better. And I will get over my own shit and stop worrying about how many chins will show up on ABC. And I will just be myself and talk about the facts and celebrate with all of you. Rant over. I'm going to catch up on super chats from Tuesday. I am going to take all of your questions about anything because we just did a weekly roundup. We're not doing any other specific topics. So we will just talk about whatever. This is supposed to be a fun stream. We are going into the holidays. We did like almost 4 hours on Tuesday and didn't get to a lot of questions. So we will absolutely do it. Oh, thank you so much. See, you guys are all going to be watching ABC. I love it. Fred's like, I see another variant of human happy juice. Yes, Fred, the loud variant of human happy juice. Austin said, doesn't 1 year legal experience in LA actually count as 5? I mean, at the LA DA's office, it felt like that with the amount of cases we covered. My first day in court, because we do training before we go to court. If this is interesting to you, I hope so. But we do training for a month, or we did when I became a DA. It could have changed. Things change. I don't know what training looks like right now, but I haven't asked. I could ask. I have no desire to ask. I just don't care. Anyway, we did a month of training, and then we got sent to mostly misdemeanor rotations. First, some people went to preliminary hearings. So I went to a busy misdemeanor court, and I walked into my new office. Like another DA had walked out of that office on Friday. I walked in on Monday, and there was I kid you not, there was a stack of like 150 plus case files that were like on my desk. And there was a note that said, your judge's name is this, the department number is this, it is on the 3rd floor. Good luck. And I was like, okay, let's go run 150 cases through calendar, plus bench warrant walk-ins, plus stuff set for trial, and let's just figure out how this goes. And thankfully, the public defenders working in that court and the judges working in that court know when the DAs rotate, they know that we are new and they have patience, a lot of patience, because it takes you some time to get into a flow and to feel confident in yourself as a young attorney. And that takes time with trial work too. It takes you time to feel like you know what you're doing. And then you talk to people who are representing themselves on DUIs and stuff, and you're just like, so these are your options. You can get a lawyer, you can go apply if you want to talk to a public defender, because you can't give them legal advice, but you talk to them as if they are the attorney, like the offer is this and this is what you're facing, and they're like, I don't know what I should do. And I'm like, you should get an attorney and not ask me what to do, because I can't tell you what to do. So it was very, very interesting those first few months in misdemeanor court, talking to people, and then talking to people about like illegal lobster fishing and stuff, and just trying to not roll your eyes at the fact that illegal lobster fishing is, I get it when it's large scale, but when some dude has one lobster, you're not gonna make me care. Like, fishing game complained to my boss. They're like, she doesn't seem to take it seriously. I'm like, a guy went and got a lobster. Is he overfishing the lobster pot? Like, okay, we need to take a deep breath on that one. The fine is more than the lobster would cost at the supermarket. Oh, Chris McDaniel said, you are liked on other channels. I think that's true too. I hope so. I always try to be kind to fellow creators. And when fellow creators ask for me to take care of the legal stuff, I do. I really do always enjoy getting to be on, like, all of the Bravo podcasts have been so welcoming, and the Bravo channels here on YouTube have been so welcoming. Even channels like Phil DeFranco and H3 sharing the content that I do helps bring awareness to what I do here. And I appreciate it. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Um, let's see. You guys are like, question, can we watch it together? I can live tweet. I can't stream. That would that would be great. ABC's like, we welcomed you on, and now we have to copy strike your channel because you cannot stream it. But it will be on Hulu, and I will do I will live tweet or something. I don't know. I will live tweet or something. And I will be sharing that experience, some of that on the I Have Thoughts podcast. Octa's like, they're going to use you a lot because you're hella entertaining. I don't know. I think I was nervous. I was trying not to be awkward. I was like, why am I so nervous? But when you're not like, I'm very comfortable in this setting, sometimes it's hard. Um, I might have said yeeted spears, pocket Angie tips. I just don't know if that will make it to air. Can you do it live with all of us while it's live on TV? I can absolutely live tweet it. I just don't think I can do a live watch party. Because I can't stream it. I could probably watch. You guys are like, you would love a watch party. All right, let me see if I can figure out how that would even work. I will think about it. Thank you, Octo. We may get to 200K after ABC. I don't know I don't know if that audience is going to be like, let's go find her on YouTube. Maybe not, but we'll see. Too bad Cuthbert was in the UK and not the US. I am sad that Cuthbert is in the UK because it's much harder to pull their legal documents, but at least they've been talking about it on social media enough to cover because it is funny. Scary career. Tracy, I'm assuming is talking about being a police officer. You make a fatal mistake, which is horrific, and it could cost your freedom. She seems like one of the good ones. If a surgeon had a perfect record and made one fatal mistake, can they be prosecuted in the same way? No. Doctors that kill people are not prosecuted in the same way. They have to find that standard for in the medical sphere to be criminally like civil wrongful death being civil wrongful death on the Kim Potter case all day long. A civil wrongful death is appropriate. Civil wrongful death is what is going to happen. I'm sure it's already in process and will probably settle. But with that, most doctors, because of their contracts with others and because of their profession, it has to be beyond kind of gross negligence for it to be criminal. For medical deaths to bump into the criminal realm is exceedingly difficult and exceedingly rare. Normally, it goes to wrongful death or medical malpractice cases. And even then, it's hard because of the waivers and liability waivers that people sign. And there is legislation protecting the profession. So that. Question, did you enjoy the Q&A for ABC? I really did enjoy it. I was a little bit nervous doing it, which sounds funny, but I was definitely nervous doing it, and I enjoyed it. Go Emily, to the law nerds and beyond. I mean, it will always be to the law nerds, Mooney Magoo. The law nerds are my favorite place on the internet. So, cheers. Let's see. Are they new? Yes, they are new glasses. They look different. They are different. My youngest was not sure. My oldest was like, they have like kind of supervillain vibes. I'm like, no, Edna Mode from The Incredibles. She's amazing. But with that, they are Erlen lenses and they are slightly darker than my last Erlen lenses that had faded because Erlen lenses can fade, but they're actually making the reading experience way more comfortable, which means I will probably have more energy as the stream goes on because Erlen. Is that why you have purple hair? We went purple at 100K. I think I've told the story before, but the Octo Nation, who's in the chat, Warren and I were chatting about purple hair, God, over a year and a half ago, talking about what kind of a like whole life embodiment fulfilled career really would look like for me. And it was part of like, hey, I'd love to be able to just be my whole self. Like, not worry about like what a jury thinks of me and not worry about like, presenting to the court and just to be able to do law different and to be able to do it in a way that feels like I could be 100% myself. And I talk about this in my TED Talk a bit about feeling like I had put myself in a little lawyer box with a black suit and pearls and a severe bob. I loved my severe bob though. Um, and just really kind of playing a role of lawyer in my day-to-day life, but wanting more tattoos and wanting to be able to participate more on social media. I have loved the internet since I was in high school and ran up like a $500 bill on my parents' phone line because I didn't understand that when you had to dial up to the internet, like the like um, that it would cost I like the minute and was, mucking around in early day chat rooms and playing like mud servers in college and wanting to be able to bring kind of that love for connection and technology and law all together as myself. And Warren was like, no, I see it all. I see like purple hair and the whole thing. I'm like, literally in my soul, I have always wanted purple hair. And then we made a joke about it on the channel, like, okay, when we get to 100K, we're doing purple hair. And I love it the most. I love it with a little bit of a root because sometimes in the sun it's super purple, sometimes it is not as purple. Not everybody gets the purple, but it just makes me feel like me, and I love it. And I'm gonna start singing like Shania Twain, like man, I feel like a woman. Bow, 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 bow. But I feel like I just get to be me. And, oh, and and I could be green, I could be blue, I could be violet sky, I could be purple, I could be purple, I cannot, but I would like to. So, it's just getting to be all of me. Did I wear one of my t-shirts? I did not wear merch to ABC. I did wear black. She wears black all of the time, and I love it. So, this was the whole TED Talk or Emily Talk. This was the whole finding that I was putting myself in a box and just and just was not getting to be me. It's exhausting to not get to be you, right? And I get very, very frustrated when I see people judging other people for being them. It's like, it doesn't bro, it doesn't hurt you. Let people just live their life. It's fine. It's not hurting you. It's good. Should Dr. B should join you for a glass of champs. Dr. B does not love champs, um, which is okay. And Dr. B and I, when I filmed, we definitely had an evening with a glass of whiskey, sat out on our patio, had a fire, and just kind of celebrated together. So that was really nice. So I will try to figure out a watch party. I think I answered the glasses question. Thank you. I'm going to get to some of the super chats that I missed on Tuesday. It was such a long stream. Here's what I loved about Tuesday. Tuesday felt so embodied for me. I shared it on all of my social media. Monday at what time did they say? 9 p.m. 9 p.m. Eastern and Pacific. So let me go. I'm going to pull up some of the super chats from Tuesday and get to those too. But what was I saying? Oh, Tuesday. Here's why Tuesday was so important. And it went super long. The mods are the real MVPs. You guys give it up for the mods being incredible for Monday. Or for Tuesday. Here's what was, and for always. I mean, legitimately for always. Tuesday was really important to me because even though it was long, and it was long, I wanted to cover with the Johnson versus Dr. Laguna versus Johnson case with Shalene. I wanted to cover the complaint and her response, not just the answer, but the anti-slap. The anti-slap is not to the complaint. The anti-slap is to the restraining order. But I think that case really does show the way a lawyer perceives and writes things on one side. And then when you hear what the other side has to say, how those things can shift. And sometimes it will take months for an answer to come in, and it is hard. It is hard to hold out judgment. We saw this with the first Tati suit. It was like Swanson filed his complaint and was like, this is a lawsuit because of the defendant's greed. And we were like, ooh, tea. But also, a lot of us had watched Tati and we were like, well, I got some questions like how I don't see any receipts. What did the contract really say? And we asked questions, and I will always ask questions of complaints. Like, was it really that bad? Is it on, what do we know? And then you see the other side and you're like, oh, but wait. Oh, but wait. Is this case really coming down to splitting hairs over one or two things? And it was really interesting. And it was interesting to see people's perceptions um, of plastic surgery and choosing plastic surgery. Look, people can choose elective surgeries. It's their choice. They still are entitled to the utmost standard of professionalism and care by their doctors. Whether or not someone likes plastic surgery, that's really, your body, your choice. Go ahead. And so you still deserve a doctor who treats you with respect and dignity and acts professionally and has your best health and safety concerns top of mind, no matter what you choose. So I think it takes some time to get over that. And there's even times when I'm looking at housewives and I'm like, I feel like for me that's too much. And I'm trying not to judge because I don't want to judge, but also maybe too much sometimes. And I realize that's sometimes my own personal biases when people talk and their faces don't move. It just not my preference, but also not my choice. So that's why Tuesday went so long, is because I really wanted to show both sides of that. And I thought the legal work on both sides was great. And I think there are two very divergent points of view on that case. And it was important to go through both. Tracy said, question, who wants to shovel my driveway? I have never done that in my life. I would like to not. When it snowed here last year in February and we all got snowed in for a week, we all just kind of went, it'll melt. Don't have a shovel. We were kind of using the broom for a little bit. We tried using the yard shovel for a little bit, and then we just gave up and waited for it to melt a little bit. So let's see. I want to get to some of the super chats I didn't get to on Tuesday. Joe Jersey on Tuesday said, just with the $16K a month, he being Yeeted Spears, has earned over $2.496 million since January 2008. And that's just the salary. We were talking about how much Dad Spears has made. So millions is the answer to how much Dad Spears has made. Juana Michelle shared on Tuesday, I am my son's caregiver, handle everything in his life. I don't get paid, nor would I ever expect to. It's my honor. And I think it's a great perspective when we were talking about the Britney Spears conservatorship and how much he got paid. Enchanted Wings said, you can be happy with any medical procedure at first and have complications and be unhappy later. It's not uncommon. And I think, again, results and experience can be two different things in medical too. The results can be, okay, the results are fine, but then the experience was not good. Annabelle Westbrook said, my first live, you are my Patronus. That's so kind. Your hair is awesome, and I'm so grateful for everything I've learned from you. I do wonder, however, are you well-versed in bird law? I have no idea what bird law is. So no. I probably need to know, but I do not know. Important questions here. What is your favorite Pokemon? This will not come as a surprise to some of you. It might come as a surprise to others. Eevee is my favorite Pokemon. I love Eevees. And again, Eevees get to choose what they want to be. Sometimes they're Sylveon. Sometimes they're Glaceon. They can be a Flareon or a Vaporeon. I'm like, Eevee can be all the things. I love Eevees. So Eevee is my favorite Pokemon. Hannah said, question on the last episode of Real Housewives of Salt Lake City and Jen Shaw's denial. No. Like, girl, EDB told me the feds don't prosecute cases they can't win. I did say that. The feds really tend to bring cases they feel that they have quite a lot of evidence on. I think with Jen Shaw, and it will be interesting to see how this plays out, I think Jen Shaw knows exactly what she did and does not believe that what she did is criminal. I think she's like, what? Other people do it. But she has watched. This is the third round of prosecutions on this telemarketing scheme. Dozens of defendants have been tried and convicted before her. Some have pled, some have gone to trial. But this is the third part. So she's watched this play out. She's been deposed by the FTC. I think she has convinced herself, this is just my opinion, that she has convinced herself that it is just not criminal to do what she was doing. And everybody's like getting all fluff, but it's like, it's just business practices. Well, sometimes business practices are illegal. So that's what it is. Emily said, I was on a jury and I felt so bad for the DA. She had no clue what was going on or anything about the case. We immediately, within 2 hours, not guilty. And sadly, it can happen in the DA's office where a colleague who has been preparing for said trial is not available for said trial the day that it goes to trial. And you're like, oh, thank you for this. We're just going to tell a quick DA story. I was working in Long Beach and I was finishing up a trial. I believe that the trial I was finishing up was a felony assault and robbery case. And as I had finished closing arguments, the clerk for another judge was waiting for me. Was like, hey, the judge wants to know if you're ready to start picking a jury on your attempted murder assaults. It was a guy who got stabbed in his office. It was actually a really sad case. The defendant was pro per. I had not announced ready. Normally you announce ready for trial and then you pull in a jury panel. I had not announced ready at all. I had not talked to the victim yet. I had gotten the file like a day or two before, if memory serves. And I had just finished closing arguments. Like I had done my close, the defense had done their close, I had done my rebuttal, the jury had walked out, and I was like, I can go hydrate and go to the bathroom and eat and breathe because the jury is out. But no, the clerk was like, we're ready for you. We have a jury. So apparently the deputy in charge of that courtroom had told the judge that I was ready without asking me. And as a junior district attorney, there's not much you can say about that to anyone other than your colleagues because you're like, oh, did you now? You said I was ready. Okay. I feel so very prepared. Has anyone called the victim and make sure they knew this was going to trial today? Because I didn't think. And after I went to court, I'll tell you what happened when I went to court. After I went to court and I went and talked to the calendar deputy, I'm like, have you called the people and made sure they're available? They looked at me and were like, no, you can do that tonight. I was like, good. I have another jury out. Oh, I was in the middle of closing argument when you announced me ready. Oh, literally gave no fucks about my life. Which bosses, when you have 5 or 6 of them at a time. So my jury was out. I went downstairs and the judge looked at me and went, Miss Baker, so nice of you to join us. The entire jury veneer was sitting in the courtroom waiting for me. Yep. He had called them down while I was in my closing argument upstairs. Didn't have them waiting in the jury room, had called them into the courtroom. So when I walked in, everybody was like, I was like, oh, great. This is fantastic. I said, hi, Your Honor. I just finished closing arguments in, Judge so-and-so's courtroom. And he's like, well, attorney so-and-so announced you ready. I'm like, news to you and me both. And at that point, I'm not going to argue with the judge. The entire jury panel is sitting there. So I'm not going to argue with him. I'm just going to be like, apologies. Let's start picking a jury. I don't even think I had the file at the moment. And the defendant who's representing himself is just sitting there, which is a whole nother mental space to be prepared to go to trial with someone who's not a lawyer, but still has to abide by the rules of being a lawyer without coming across like a dick, but with also protecting your case and making sure they're not doing things they're not supposed to do. And it's a whole nother headspace than what I had just been doing. So whole jury panels there. We start picking a jury. My jury's still deliberating upstairs. We start picking a jury and I remind the judge at the break, hey, I have a jury out upstairs. If we have jury or questions or whatever, we're going to have to take a break. And this judge is like, well, that judge can let me know. And I'm like, great. Just roll with it. One of my coworkers helped me call people because I was still in jury selection. I was like, help. The blessing of having coworkers who will help you out. And I called and talked to the victim on the phone and was like, you're going to be here tomorrow. You're going to testify. The defendant is representing himself. So you are going to be questioned on cross-examination by the person who stabbed you. So that's going to be interesting. Try to be patient. I will object when it's appropriate. If they get out of line, the judge will say something. Just try to take a deep breath and tell the truth and do your best. And away we all go together. The next morning, I did my opening. It was very brief. It's just one count. This thing happened. The defendant did their opening. It was kind of a mess, but not an attorney and representing themselves. We did testimony until lunch. After lunch, we did closing. And then that jury went out. So I had a jury out upstairs, a jury out downstairs. Both juries came back like the next morning. It was just like the craziest week of my life. I don't think I ate the entire week. I was very, very tired. And then that's being a DA. Then you're like, okay, I'm going to take Friday off. And then I'm going to come in on Monday and we're going to do another trial. Great. The cases that you're seeing on TV and the big cases that we're following, those attorneys have more time, but the line prosecutors in busy, large jurisdictions, there were times I did 4 or 5 trials in a month. And it is a lot. And you were just moving. And that's on top of all the other cases that you're handling on a day-to-day basis. So it was definitely a busy job. This feels like a lot more of a reasonable pace. Cindy said, what's your go-to holiday beverage, open Christmas gifts or Christmas Eve? Christmas Eve or Christmas morning? We open Christmas gifts as a family Christmas morning. If we are traveling and with other family, we will tend to do Christmas Eve with, grandparents or whomever, and then Christmas morning with our family. We are a Christmas morning family. My go-to holiday beverage on Christmas Day is definitely Irish coffee. Love. But I shift between like a spiced cider or whiskey. I like whiskey year round. So it just is. Yeah, fish and game was always very interesting. Sorry for a tangent of a story. Maki said, how are employers okay with people being on juries for weeks or months? In my country, there are 1 or 3 judges in a trial, no random people that have to take time off of their life. And that is not uncommon that judges sit in judgment. That is not uncommon in many countries around the world. One of the things about studying law is that you get to learn about laws elsewhere. So with that, you cannot fire someone for being on jury duty. It is against the law. So in the US, it is part of your civic duty to sit on jury trial. Under our Constitution, individuals are entitled to a jury of their peers. There are restrictions depending on the jurisdiction, about how far you can bring jurors in from, so that the jurors are literally the community that lives near the courthouse, and you have a community of 12 deciding a case. And that is part of the core foundation of our system. So Gabby asked, would you ever be a guest on H3? I have been a guest on H3. I've called in and talked about stuff. As I'm putting this over here, as we're bumping into the mic, if that was loud, I apologize. I really try to not talk about lawsuits with those involved in the lawsuit, except with H3, the Triller filed suit was so freaking ridiculous that I was like, I think this filed suit is stupid. I'm not going to think anything other than that. So when I evaluated whether I would chat about the law of that case, it was, look, you're already talking about this. You're not going to stop talking about this. I will talk about the law and my perception of this case being stupid and terribly written. But with the Kavanaugh case, I would probably wait to talk about that till it is over, other than talking about it on my channel. So, sassy purple haired lawyer, love it. Me too. Because of you, I've applied for uni next year to do criminal law. Yay. My kids have got autism and ADHD and cerebral palsy. I always tell them that they can be whatever they want. And I actually told my son about you. Chantel, that is so tremendously kind. Thank you. And yes, I think assistive technologies have opened up professions for many. And I think that is absolutely Absolutely needed. So let me get to some questions. I'm sorry that I randomly ran off into a story time. I started teaching art to middle schoolers this year at 51. Here's to stepping outside your comfort zone into new adventures. Judy, you got this. Thank you. That's amazing. Middle schoolers are great. Quick story. My 13-year-old had a friend over yesterday, and his friend came over in a Teddy Fresh sweatshirt, and I almost fell over. I'm like, my kid's got the coolest friends. I was like, "Is that Teddy Fresh?" He's like, "Yep." I was like, "Rock on, kid. It's amazing." Um, Call me Al, good to see you. I hope you said Yeeted Spears and it was kept in so much. We need Yeeted Spears merch. We maybe need Yeeted Spears merch. We maybe just need Yeeted merch with, like, the image of him tumbling through space. Do you remember that being edited? So I just a tofu. I don't know what ABC will make available. We will try to figure it out. I have no idea what will be available. Mm, let's see. Um, I am trying to get to questions. I have missed some of the super stickers. Thank you, Tracy. Thank you, Jennifer. Skylar said, listen to your TED Talk today. And the message was something I used to say to myself all the time, but this last year lost it. But thank you. I sometimes lose all of my good advice to myself, and it takes my friends to remind me. So that absolutely happened. And I appreciate you. Oh, you're right. Edna's glasses were around. Look, Renee, it's a vibe that I was feeling. Only s only sometimes. Uh, and yes, we can watch, I think. I will figure out a live stream situation. Limbo Junkie said, "Can an attorney say things in emotion that their client does not agree with or to?" Shouldn't. What options does the client have? Do they call up the judge and let them know? Uh, I would say anybody should talk to their attorney first, and if concerned, get an opinion from a second attorney in their district on the thing specifically, because that is very, very fact specific. But you can ask another attorney in that jurisdiction. But no, a party to a lawsuit should not attempt to directly communicate with the judge. You can look for another attorney in the jurisdiction where the thing took place. Were any of your prior cases as a DA ever televised or recorded? No, thank the Lord. I was barely on social media as a DA. I had police protection on my house enough that I was put off by that. I tried to keep a very low profile. Um, I would get very jumpy. Like, somebody would come up to me at the gas station and be like, "Hey, you look super familiar." I'd be like, no. Mm-mm. Because you never know. So they're not all appreciate what you were doing. I had jurors recognize me on occasion after trials. Defendants' families recognize me after trials, and victims' families recognize me after trials. It was much different than it is now. Now it's very nice to see people, and it's very weird going from no social presence to a social presence. I did not love doing media cases. I loved just talking to, my witnesses, the victims, and doing my own thing and let everybody not know I exist. I very much tried to keep it on the low low. I'm glad I'm not the only one that ran up my parents' phone bill with old dial up. My mom never let me forget it though. Oh, my mom has never let me forget it. It still comes up to this day. It still comes it still comes up. I really didn't know. The internet was so new. How do you know? I mean, again, me as a teen shouldn't have been talking to strangers on the internet, but it was like CompuServe. I didn't know. It was strange. It was new. It was exciting. It was fun. That was even before AOL chat rooms. In college, the AOL chat rooms were the thing to do. Henhouse, yes, all the purple-haired Zennials unite. I know, we all just wanna be us. It's like, we wanna be us. Laura M, Peter Mon is such a gift, and be too much is definitely a motto that I absolutely feel to my heart. Um, Tori, this is so thank you. Emily put Emily in a corner for a very long time. Therapy has made all things possible. Rainy Cake says, I hate champagne. Not only is it carbonated, which I hate, but it also worst hangover alcohol. It definitely can be. Um, you have to find the right one for sure. You have to find the right one. But I have found some that I love. I love bubbly things. I am a carbonated water fan. I love the bubbly. Is your mom starting to accept it? My mom does not love the purple hair. She does not understand it. She does not love it. Yamino Game said, I got my first tattoo and finally actually feel like myself. I know. It's a whole thing. And my tattoos are something I love. My mom also. Mom, I love you. If you're watching, you know that I love you. She does also not love my tattoos. The mods are rock stars always. I'm going to try to catch up. I'm so behind in the chat. I know. I'm sorry. You talked about how hard it is to send doctors to jail. Have you watched Dr. Death and listened to the podcast? Would you? I have not listened to Dr. Death. I do not tend to wade into the medical stuff, but I will. I would be very curious. There was a very brief period of time in my life where I worked as an EMT. Um, it was not for me at all. Not for me at all, but I have not done a ton of medical stuff. I was interested part of the reason I was interested in covering the Chalene Johnson suit is not just because I've listened to her podcast and followed her on social media for quite a while, but also because it's so analogous in a lot of ways to the H3 suit. It's a defamation suit. It is somebody saying, but their audience is doing this and their audience is doing that. And it's a very new and interesting way to look at defamation. And I think it's an area of law where we will see, like, what about people who actually incite their audience? And I'm not saying I think H3 or Chalene did that, but what about people who are like, go mass flag them, go do this, go. Where is that? I think this is a very interesting and growing area of law because influencers, compared to how old and slow the law is, the world of influencers and social media is all still very new. And how the laws will address it or how they should address it, where is the line between free speech and incitement? It's going to be interesting, and it matters very much. And I'm fascinated by it. So those types of suits in different contexts, I will continue to be interested in. Question, when do we get the Fred and George cam? I need to figure out a Fred and George cam. I just don't know how I'm going to set it up. I need to set one up. I think I need to put a camera on there, but I need to figure out how I would link it back to my computer because now with the soundboard, I think I could actually switch between the two because I think I could input it there, but it will take some doing. And when I'm ADHD, when I'm like, I haven't figured it out yet, it takes me some time. I have to figure it out. Ash Bailey said, DeFranco is how I found you. He was so generous. He doesn't have a ton of people come on to his show as interviews, normally uses clips. I was very happy to be on his show. And, who knows? We will, I'm sure, do it again. Congrats. The rest of the world is figuring out what us law nerds are always knew. You are a true gem. Well, thank you. That's very kind. So I appreciate that. I have not watched It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. I'm sorry. That is why I don't know the things. Question, I wonder if Edith Spears owes the Vegas casino money. I have no idea. Question, thoughts on Jen Shaw's denial in regards to her case on the latest episode of Real Housewives of Salt Lake? Is she really that unaware of the storm she's in? I wonder if it's a protective mechanism. Truly. And I think I addressed it a little bit, but I wonder if it's a protective mechanism in part. Casey Anderson said, would you be interested in doing a Nashville Law Nerd meetup to watch the ABC special and live tweet from there? I have 15 years plus in events marketing, would be willing to organize it. We can message through Patreon. That's Monday, right after the holiday. So I don't know. That would be have to run it by the family and think of it and not be impulsive. But Casey, if you're on Patreon, just message me. And I don't know. I will message me on Patreon. I will have to think on that. I don't know. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what my family wants to do. And that's going to be really one of the big things. So that would be a conversation with Dr. B and the kids. But that doesn't mean we can't do a rewatch on Hulu and maybe watch parts on our next members only live stream, but we will see. I love seeing you guys talk about your Pokemon. Snorlax is also fantastic. I love that Rowlett is finally in the game. So cute. Oh, thank you for loving the DA story times. Um, DA story times are a whole thing. Ugh. Brenda. Girl, you know what it is. Um, Question, if that was the first time Kim Potter ever pulled her service weapon in 26 years, why was she a field training officer? Um, well, her experience made her an FTO. She had never been in a use of force incident, and I don't know if it's because of I don't know if it's because of the area where she polices. I didn't see all of the expert testimony. I don't know how common use of forces are in her jurisdiction. I maybe there are plenty of other lawyers, officers at her experience level that never pulled a service weapon. Maybe she rolled out, I mean, she was on like a domestic violence task force and she was on a officer involved shooting task force. And if a lot of her time was spent responding and investigating other uses of force, then there would be no need for her to be involved in a use of force because she wasn't on patrol. So it really just is very specific to that jurisdiction. Hopefully that gives you some of the different options with why that's possible. So, let's see. Katie said first time. Congrats. Thank you, Katie. And you guys, if you are new law nerds, you can pop a 1 in the chat so we can say hello. Because hello. Question, did you face a lot of defendants representing themselves not at trial? I did not do a lot of pro per trials. Pro per is in I'm not going to pronounce it correctly. In proper in persona, improper persona, improper, there it Latin, but and brain and distracted and champagne. I think it's improper persona. Yes, whatever. The pro per defendants who chose to represent themselves normally did not represent themselves through trial or represented themselves after trial on things or pled before trial and were very well familiar with the criminal justice system and were like, look, I know what the options are. I know what my time is. I don't want to talk to an attorney. Can we just do this? So at trial, no, I did not have a ton of pro per trials. It's definitely more challenging than dealing with a defense attorney who knows the rules and you're all kind of on the same page. It was challenging for everyone. This particular defendant, it was a very interesting trial. And I think the victim ultimately testified really well because the guy's like, why are you saying that I stabbed you? And he's like, because I saw you when you stabbed me. So Peggy Cole, thank you so much for being you and helps me be me. Awesome. It has had a great effect on my self-confidence so much, and I look forward to every post. Peggy, that is tremendously kind. And I really always hope that people are just like, yes, I can be me, and nobody else has a right to tell me how to be me or what being me should be like. We can embrace the be too much, and we can toxic person, walk the other way. Toxic person, walk the other way. Toxic person, walk the other way. Walk the other way. We just don't have to take it on. We get to set boundaries and just embrace people that we want to embrace. And if people don't want to embrace us, it's fine. They can just walk the other way. Question, did the guy get found guilty? Oh yeah, the pro per guy got convicted real fast. I mean, I think the jury was only out because we ended at the end of the day. The jury came back in the morning and deliberated. I think they were only out for like an hour and a half. No. It was not a case most attorneys would take to trial, but the guy was like, no, this is a racket. It wasn't me. And the victim was like, but it was you though. I have not been following the Colorado trucker case. So I've not been following the Colorado trucker case, so I do not know enough to comment. Generally, if the prosecution asks for a reduced sentence, the judge will listen unless the facts are particularly egregious. So that just depends. Let's see. I am trying to jury stories. I sat on a jury for a murder trial for 2 weeks. My employer was awesome and kept paying my salary for the whole thing. And I think, Caroline, I think that's great. Some employers are a little bit difficult with it, but most, I mean, it depends. I think a lot of employers really are like, it's your civic duty. We see it. So, Kelly said, I got paid by my employer when I did jury duty for 4 days and paid a little by the court too. Yep. I donated when I got paid for jury duty, I donated it back. But I was only ever there for like a day or two. And then they were like, oh, what you do what by? I actually had another DA pop up on my jury panel for a case who I hadn't met before and now know. And so he's sitting there and it's like you're going through the questions and he's like, what do you do? And he's like, I'm a deputy district attorney. Oh, really? For what county? Los Angeles County. Oh, why are you go? And the judge was like, you're excused. It was pretty funny. And somebody I got to know in years after that, but lived near the courthouse I worked at, but worked at a different courthouse. It was kind of funny. My husband came to my courthouse and did jury duty once. And the judge was like, oh, it's so nice to meet you. You're Emily's husband. You're dismissed. Lovely to see you. And my mom went to jury duty in front of Judge Wyndham, who just finished doing the Durst trial, who was also like, oh, you're Emily's mom. That's lovely. We'll see if the defense would like to dismiss you for cause. And the defense was like, goodbye. But she got to meet Judge Wyndham, who really truly was and is one of my favorite judges. Kelly M said ABC programming is usually available on their app or website the next week for free. Grey's Anatomy always conflicts with Law and Order SVU. Kelly M, that's a hot tip. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. So thank you. Donna, do the Pawnerds destroy your Christmas tree? Well, we tried. So the Pawnerds are still kittens. They are new. We got them in March. They were born in January. It is almost Pawnerd birthday. We tried putting up ornaments. We have a very pretty minimalist tree this year with some wooden ornaments on it and lights because they were trying to leap at the ornaments and we're like, let's just not give them the temptation. Now that there's no ornaments on it and it's just lights and tree, they're totally fine with it. So that. Question. Okay, but will you ever get that dial-up noise out of your head? Never. I will never ever get that dial-up noise out of my head. Haley said, I am married to a felon. Is that why I never get called for jury duty? It's possible. If I did, they'd probably just dismiss me, right? I want to do it so bad. I don't know. I don't think they should. Just because someone has had a criminal conviction and they can't serve doesn't mean their spouse can be unbiased. I think I can only speak for me. I wouldn't dismiss somebody just because their spouse had been convicted of a felony. I just wouldn't. I don't think it's exceedingly rare. And B, there are lots of felonies that are stupid. And C, if you're like, yeah, I mean, he did his time. There's no judgment. We're just going to be fair and listen to the facts. I don't think you would have to. So, and it also depends just on your jurisdiction and how they pull for jury duty. CompuServe, that's where I met my ex-fiance. Debs. CompuServe, we're going way back. People are like, what is CompuServe? Don Shoot said, Brad Mondo says, live your extra life. I love it. Look, I love it. Be too much. Live your extra life. Facts, not fuckery. I'm here for all of it. Questions. Can prosecutors use things Jen Shaw said on the show to impeach her testimony during the trial if something contradicts? Oh, yes, they can. I love doing what I'm doing now the most. I would never go back to living the way I was living before. I wouldn't. I can talk more about my personal life in other streams. I wouldn't change what I'm doing now. But if I had another life as a lawyer, I would totally be the housewife special prosecutor for the AUSA's office. I'm like, sign me up, coach. But I really think what I'd rather do is have, ABC or Bravo or someone say, Emily, would you like to go to New York and sit in the Jen trial every day and be special correspondent for the criminal prosecution? I would be like, yes, please. I need to sit in. I would like to give analysis and commentary. I don't want to do I don't need to do the things anymore. I like to share the things with y'all. It's way more fun. For the Mika quote, Thank you so much. I mean, I love and have loved for years. When it took off on TikTok, I was like, what is happening? My happy little secrets, aren't always happy little secrets. It's funny how TikTok has changed, music and the way people consume music. Jen said she hired all her family members on Sunday's episode. Did she implicate them in the fraud? I look, if they might not have known what she was doing, she might get investigated by her state for paying or not paying employment taxes and things like that. It's not uncommon for people to have family members on their payroll and have them do minimal things like computer input or organizing files or returning emails and stuff. It doesn't necessarily mean they knew the fraud at the heart of the thing. So, and I'm sure the feds have already looked at it. They had all of her stuff. Had to check Friday Night Live on a Thursday. Yes, because tomorrow I'm going to be offline, for sure. So let's see. I see a number of you that are like, first, welcome new law nerds. Thank you. All our new 1Ls. Ricky Hendricks concerning Kim Potter, I kept hearing misdemeanor, but also heard 10 years or more. What have you, I have not looked at her sentence. I could look right now real quick. The manslaughter is the first degree is a felony. So let me answer questions before we drink more champagne. Because, I looked at this a while ago. Because the first degree manslaughter is not uncommon, and there's been a few other cases I've talked about in Minnesota that have been manslaughter cases. The maximum for first degree manslaughter is 15 years. For second degree, it's 10. So it's the article that I'm looking at is that the average in Minnesota is in the 5 to 7 years range for first degree manslaughter, which they're going to argue mitigating and mitigating circumstances, saying, look, she's never even had a use of force complaint. This should equal a lower sentence. And then the government's going to argue, look, this was reckless and somebody lost their life. This would be a higher sentence. But there is no mandatory minimum. So not more than 15 years. I mean, so that's what it is. No mandatory minimum. Like when we talk about the Duggar case, there is a mandatory minimum there. See, thank you. Thank you, Jay. I can't, so propera. I can't do it. Propera is the thing I cannot get. Because we always say proper. Now I want EDB to react to the Ronnie O'Neill trial. I am not familiar with the Ronnie O'Neill trial. I am definitely not familiar with everything. Because we have been covering a lot of the pop culture-y stuff. Why was Potter convicted of first and second? Well, it doesn't surprise me that if the jury found the first degree, which has more elements, that they would also find the second degree. She cannot be sentenced on both. The second degree is a lesser included. So she will be sentenced on the greater one. Prosecutors often will charge everything that's appropriate, even if legally you cannot be sentenced on both. One will just get stayed. But if something like if the first degree manslaughter statute in Minnesota, if there's something that is ruled unconstitutional with it, this is just a very bad example, then you still have the second degree. Or if something gets overturned as to one count and not the other count on appeal, then you can sentence on the lower. So this is very common that you would try someone on everything that's appropriate, and then see what the jury decides. Because I think in this case, there was room for the jury to decide the second degree and not the first degree, saying, you know what, we find that this is a lower standard. But once you find the higher one, it would be a very strange verdict if they found first degree, but found her not guilty on the second degree. That verdict wouldn't make sense. You could have a not guilty on the first degree and a guilty on the second degree. The only time I personally chose to not charge lesser crimes is if I was like, this is all or nothing. This is either this or it's not. It's either this or it's not a crime. When the facts determined that. And I was like, no, the jury needs to decide. They're not going to get to, they're not going to get to do, they're not going to get to go lower on this. It is what it is. And not all jurisdictions allow that. Some jurisdictions, the defendant have the right to choose lesser included crimes and have those put in. That wasn't the way it worked in California. Sean, I've covered a little bit of the Shake It Off suit, but I will be doing a deep dive on the podcast in January for sure. But can we go over the trucker case as they are appealing? I'm sure they're appealing. I will have to look at it to see if it is something I can add information to. Can't DAs sit on the jury? Not in their own jurisdiction. So because it's like, oh, well, this is someone from your own office trying this case. DAs can sit on a civil jury. DAs could sit on a jury for a city attorney or a federal prosecutor, but DAs cannot sit on a jury in their own jurisdiction when the prosecutor is from their own office. It is a conflict. Ever since H3 were unjustly taken out of commission, your lives have been lifesavers. You two are the only lives I actually love to watch. Well, thank you. And I have not followed a ton of what went on with H3. I think there was the strike, but the strike got removed, but I think they can't stream for a week, and I haven't gone through it enough. So what do I think the sentence will be on Kim Potter? I mean, I don't know. We just looked at the fact that the average sentence in Minnesota is normally 7 years. I mean, I don't think 5 to 7 would be unreasonable. I mean, it might feel unreasonable to Kim Potter, but I don't think 5 to 7 would be unreasonable, given that the max is 15. So we'll see. Could it be less than that? Yes. I don't think they'll give her probation. I think that they will give her, I think that she will do some prison time. Kelly Brown, question, could Kim Potter possibly get more time than Josh Duggar? I think it would be highly unusual. And if that happened, I would be like, seriously, WTF, because there are so many more aggravating circumstances, like circumstances to make Duggar's sentence go up, where there are mitigating factors, I think, for Potter to make her sentence go down. So I think some of the things that count against Duggar are not only the number of images that he had, but prior behavior and things like that. So I think that would aggravate. And the Duggar case carries a 5-year mandatory minimum with a 20-year max, where this carries no mandatory minimum with a 15-year max. So I think it is more likely that he will get more time. And I would frankly be very, very surprised if that didn't happen. If Kim Potter was performing her job, is the legal issue her employer's or her personal issue who pays for her defense? This would have been a personal payment for her defense. It doesn't mean that the Police Officers Association wouldn't necessarily help, but she is being sued kind of outside of the scope of her job duties, because if she was inside the scope of her job duties, immunity would have covered her, and then she wouldn't have been prosecuted at all. So that is what that is. Are you going to celebrate the Bonard birthday? Absolutely. We always celebrate our Bonard's birthdays. So I think I explained this about DAs not being on juries. I think I didn't give enough information on that. Can be on juries, can't be on a jury from their same office. I've never been called for jury duty. So sad about it. Devlin, just put that out into the universe. I think it will happen. I can't believe Emily. I mean, we hit like 190 yesterday. So I don't know how close we are to let's see. I'll go look at the back end of the channel. I mean, we are halfway to 191. So I imagine that this evening, given the holidays, a lot of you that are watching are already subscribed, but you never know. YouTube helpfully unsubscribed about 400 people from my channel yesterday. So go ahead and double check that you are still subscribed, because it happens every now and then. You'll just see your sub count go like, and you're like, what? They just go, I don't know if it's old accounts that haven't been used, whatever. They just go through and like, so, Let's see. I'm going to try to get caught up a little bit. Would the attorneys somehow know if a potential juror was married to a felon? It's normally asked in what ear? So no, they wouldn't know until they were asked. Question: if you have mental illness, can you serve on a jury? In the UK, I can't because I'm bipolar. Margaret, I don't think um you can be just summarily removed from jury duty because you have a mental illness. Though I think if somebody came to a judge and was like, "Look, I cannot sit for a jury," and they brought it up themselves, then the judge might allow them to be excused, but I don't think they would summarily not be allowed to sit unless they were not legally competent to make decisions. Someone in a conservatorship wouldn't be able to sit on jury duty, but someone who's bipolar, I don't think that they would have a problem with that. I don't think it is. I've actually never seen it come up where somebody's like, nope, not on jury duty. And I don't even like that information wouldn't even be known to jury services for them to remove somebody for that reason. So unless somebody brought it to the court's attention, like, look, I cannot sit for this jury, then it wouldn't come up. Dr. Debo Cherry, adore you. We need you too. Thank you. That was very kind. And that comment has let me know how far behind I am on the chat. I am so sorry. Question: if a housewife asked you to be their attorney, would you accept? No. Who would you do it for? And would you, who would you not even consider? I would rather give commentary on it. I don't want to be directly involved. I don't do trials anymore. I do minimal consulting. And if I do consulting on a case, I would not give commentary on the case because I had consulted on a case. So I would have to balance how much I wanted to help on a case versus how much I wanted to give commentary on a case. I would never choose to do both. Question regarding perjury in court papers. Jen said she didn't know what she was under. She didn't was under arrest. To Heather, excuse me, she said she knew. I need to go back through and pull not her declaration, but what her attorney said, and go back between the two. I absolutely do, and then I will keep looking at whether or not the AUSAs bring that up because it is a good point. In her dry contact lens, she said she didn't really know she was under arrest, but to Heather, she I would have to do a side by side of the two. So, and if you guys want to go back and watch my video and juxtapose the two, I covered that whole dry contact defense motion ad nauseum, which I loved. Let's see. Elena said, I don't know the name for it, but will you renew your legal status when the time comes? Elena, I am currently going through the joyful task of completing my continuing legal education so that I can renew my license because my reporting group is up. And yes, I continue to pay to renew my license in California, even though I do not intend to go into court. I like going to court. I like going to trainings. I don't mind doing my CLEs. And also, there will be someone on the internet who will be like, see, her license is inactive. It's like, because why would I pay to keep my license active when I don't want to be hired? But also, you never know. Like, you never ever know when it's like, no, I'm doing this. So question: would you like for the law nerds to reach out via social media to Bravo Andy Cohen to hire you for Housewives trials? Cindy, no, unless don't just add him. But if anyone knows someone at Bravo, if you want to just put it in their ear, I'm not going to say no. But no, that would be a Bravo decision. I don't think that would be an Andy decision. I don't think Bravo wants to touch that at all. Truthfully, I don't think Bravo wants to cover those trials at all. I really don't. But I'm still considering going to New York to cover the Jen Shaw trial just because I'm curious. Sister Babylon said, seeing how defendant Lyra or attorney defendant Lyra had signatory rights in the Lion Air case, could he be found culpable or partly for the victims not getting paid? I think of everyone that could possibly be found in contempt, it's possible. However, there is a quirk to that. With that, Girardi Keese was already found in contempt, and at the time he was an attorney for Girardi Keese, and he was an employee. So, because he was an employee and the employers already be held responsible, could he or would he be held personally responsible? I don't know. And is it equitable to do so when he was an employee? Possibly not. So, So maybe, you know, so maybe. Um, Allison said, I thought she was also being sentenced for manslaughter. With regard to Kim Potter, she will be sentenced on the first-degree manslaughter, but not the second-degree manslaughter. So hopefully that is cleared. No, more champagne than questions. Also bring back Lawyer Cat. How many likes are we at? Tell me how many likes we're at, and then we'll see if we get to Lawyer Cat this evening. We might have to Lawyer Cat this evening before we wrap up. I love that you moved your live to tonight instead of just canceling this week. Thank you. You're so welcome. I just wanted to have a live where we got to chat and have champagne. And I wanted to share about ABC and get to talk to you guys about it because I was like, yay. Anna, I think this is with regard to Kim Potter. And if it's not, I'm interpreting it that way. Do you think it was an open and closed case? No, I don't. I think the law is complex. And I think that the facts were for the jury to determine. I don't think it was an open and closed case either way. I'm always hesitant to guess on what juries will do because juries do things and you never know. When the jury came back saying they couldn't decide, I wasn't surprised. I was like, oh yeah, I could see this jury hanging because the law in the closing arguments was not made tremendously clear. It's also an emotional case. It's also a high profile case. It's also the case where someone lost their life at the hands of a police officer. And for some people, it's like, that's never, ever going to be okay. So I don't think it was an open and closed case. Does Kim Potter lose her pension now? I haven't thought through that. I don't know. I don't know. So yeah, I don't know if she will lose her pension. There are probably others that are law enforcement that comment on stuff like that, but I am not, maybe somebody will report on it. I have not seen it reported. So that's very specific to her department. Question. If your true love gives you a partridge in a pear tree for Christmas on the 12 Days of Christmas by Pentatonics, what do you do? I don't know if I've ever heard the 12 Days of Christmas by Pentatonics. I love Pentatonics. But I don't know. Apologies. We've been listening to a lot of Trans-Siberian Orchestra at my house. So, let's see. Rosie said, Phil DeFranco introduced me to you, and I'm so glad he did. Your outlook on life is inspiring. Thank you for being you. Thank you so much. That is very, very, very kind. Question. Can a mistrial be called due to misbehavior of jurors? Before they come back with a verdict, it's possible. After they come back with a verdict, appeal is your best shot. Question. What was the craziest criminal case? Oh, some of the craziest ones are really fucking devastating and sad. So I never know how to parse craziest. But when it comes to like general fuckery, there were a number of general fuckery. There was, and I've told some of those stories and will continue to tell them, but the general fuckery of Foots was probably the threesome, the alcohol-fueled threesome with a woman, her husband, and her boyfriend that ended in the husband stabbing the boyfriend with scissors because the boyfriend did not want to actively participate. So that's when we get to like things that aren't like therapy inducing devastatingly crazy. That is probably one of the cheekier cases that I'm like, bitch, no, you didn't. Like, what? Like, what? Question, favorite case. There is a murder case that I tried multiple times with someone who was killed because their child had been a witness to a robbery and had reported it to police. The witness's mother was killed to try to get the witness to stop pursuing testimony of the on the underlying robbery case, and getting a conviction for that family and feeling like there was some justice and closure for them after what they had been through it felt like justice was done. So a lot of the cases, they're just for circumstances or for what have you. There were some cases that were just devastating and nothing was going to fix the circumstance. I did a lot of DUI related homicides and there was nothing that was going to fix the circumstance. But in this case, the person that we prosecuted chose to lie in wait and to kill someone to silence them. And after going through trial multiple times to get a conviction on that felt like justice. Um, Even though it put the prosecution team at risk, the jury came back with a note in that case and said, "When we render a verdict, can we be escorted out of the building with security?" So we kind of had an idea of which way they thought they were going to go. But a fight broke out in the courtroom between the victim's family and the defendant's family. A fight broke out in front of the courthouse with the same members of the family. It was a very emotional case, and I was very, very deeply invested in getting justice for that family. And that case was on video. Well, not all of it on video. Parts of it were on video. Um, the getaway driver testified. There was so much that went into that case. We used a lot of cell phone technology back in the sidekick days. And I got to do all the cell phone technology that really mattered, and it felt like using my love of tech and my ability to break things down and explain them to individuals or to a jury felt like it really helped. So, and the prosecutor I worked with, I very much admired and respected, and so getting to also be with her every day in trial mattered. And the defense attorneys were quite good. And the defendant tried to bring in a razor to court like 3 times, and I'm like, "Oh, you think you're going to kill me, do you?" Mhm. 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 Ives Ivans, what what's your brand of drinking glass? I hope you catch shinies at the Christmas event. I do too. Ice Volpix is gorgeous. Um, you're the best discovery for me of 2021 on YouTube. Thank you. All the best to you and your family this Christmas. We are taking a slow Christmas, which we love. We very much like lean into the hoogliness of the holidays with slow days and board games and video games and movies and food that's delicious. These are Corksicle, not sponsored, but one day it'll happen, and I'll be like, y'all, I've been telling you for years. I don't think Corksicle works with anyone at all. But I love the double barreled because you don't put your hot little fingies, especially with my hands, onto the champs, and it keeps it a little bit colder. Thank you, Dr. Riley. Oh, by the way, you guys, Dr. Riley, can I share? I'm going to anyway. You guys, can you give Dr. Riley a huge congratulations? Dr. Riley got into graduate school. Yay! Yay! So you guys just throw up some celebrations for Dr. Riley in the chat because we celebrate. Introverted Andy said, "Thank you for making me laugh, and taking my mind off all the things. It's helping me get through the holidays without my dad who passed in March." Introverted Andy, I know that that has got to be a very difficult holiday season, and know that the Leonard family is here to chat. Cheers, and I'm sorry for the loss of your dad, and thank you for sharing that with us. Because and this is part of why I really do like, and that there are so many things that are of societal significance, but some of the reason I love just covering the pop culture stuff is because A, we understand the law, and B, we can talk about Jen Shaw all day long. The societal significance of Jen Shaw outside of the pop culture space is nil. So being able to talk about the law and talk about prosecutions without it being so heavy and without it being so polarized, I think is a great way to not just kind of escape, but also have an elevated conversation about stuff that would otherwise just be kind of gossip. And that's what I love about the pop culture side of the law is I love my pop culture. I love it. I'm going to guess that you're going to shoot past 200K on Monday night. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I'm a legal analyst. Will people know I'm on YouTube? Will they go look for me on social? If they go look for me on social, I'll have to be like, "Hey, go subscribe on YouTube." So thank you. Um, Carrie, Corey, I'm so many minutes behind. It doesn't even matter. Um, I know I'm a couple of minutes behind. My father-in-law was LA County Counsel. He never served on a jury. Judge Ito came to his retirement party. I have a number of friends at LA County Council. They're great. I remember the first time I went into Judge Ito's courtroom, it was very surreal after being like a high school kid during OJ. It was very odd. Like always for me being on the ninth floor in the downtown courthouse was always very surreal. So, um anyway, why are Emily's eyebrows so on fleek? Because I refused to bend to trends in the 90s. And I had very aggressive brows in high school. I will have to share some high school pictures on social. They are better shaped now, but in high school they were aggressive. So, yes. Um, Robbie Lund. So Britney Spears could now do jury duty. In theory, yes, if it would not be distracting for the rest of the jury, which might be a problem. The minimal celebrity that I had on jury, it always caused like it always was like people were like, "Oh my god, but so and so's here," and you never that can come up too. So, um, let us continue. What's happening with Maxwell? Ryan T, I covered at the beginning. They are on Christmas break and we'll come back to deliberate next week. So, um, question, do you think court-appointed attorneys work as hard as privately retained counsel? Context matters, and I think it depends on the attorney, but I know a lot of attorneys, and I worked more in criminal than I worked in civil. And in criminal, there were excellent defense attorneys that were public defenders and that were on the court-appointed counsel. They knew what they were doing, they were passionate about what they were doing, and they were fantastic. I think in criminal, there's a lot to be said for the lawyers that know the judges and work in the courthouses and work with the DAs every single day. And a lot of them are excellent attorneys. But in any profession, how do you know? Like Tom Girardi is a privately retained counsel. How would none of his clients would be like, I'd rather have Tom Girardi now after what they've been through. Well, maybe some. It's not fair of me to say all. I'm sure there are some, but it's hard to know. At least with the public defender's office and other public defender's office and bar panel attorneys and things like that, there's oversight. With court appointed counsel and like conservatorships, the oversight's the court, but it's not quite the same as having a boss. So I don't think you can say just because somebody's privately retained they're better, because that's not necessarily true. So Sister Babylon said, like they did to Ebony K. Williams when they found out her law license lapsed. Exactly. And Ebony is so smart. Like, don't come for Ebony because she's not actively licensed. Question, would you ever apply to have a Tennessee license? I mean, I no. I mean, never say never, but at this point, I don't see a need because I would like to comment and do analysis more than I would like to practice. So at this point, no. Could I do that down the road? Possibly. Um, Desiree, do you have to have a license in each state? Yes, but you can waive into different states. And as we've seen in a lot of the cases I've covered, you can appear pro hoc vice in certain cases. So in the Toddy Westbrook Washington defamation case with a YouTuber, you saw that Saltz et al. Appeared pro hoc vice with local counsel. So there are ways you can waive in to represent a client for a specific case if there is also local counsel. So it really all just depends. But I do not intend to be sending like, you know, govern yourself accordingly emails and representing clients in that way. I just truly, truly like doing this better. It is a lot of fun. What's your thoughts on the bar scores being lowered in California? I think it's dumb. Shane from Real Housewives of Orange County, FYI, in the UK, if you specify you have mental health, you are excused. And that's, I think, what the other commenter brought up. What are my thoughts on the bar scores being lowered? Don't make it easier just because so many people find it hard. But then again, I passed the bar, like a week and a half after having surgery, on my first try with dyslexia and ADHD, but also I wasn't in law school during a pandemic. I know that it was lowered because of COVID and because of some of those restrictions. I just, I don't know. I'm like, part of me is like, look, man, if I could do it, you can do it. Don't lower the standards, expect more from people. And I think expecting more from people when it comes to practicing law is absolutely fucking fair. Because you can go to law school and have a law degree. You can be a Juris Doctor without being an Esquire, without passing the bar. And I think it's okay to have the knowledge, but if you want to practice, it's okay if it's fucking hard. Trying cases is hard. Being a lawyer is hard. Octo Nation knows me. He's like that Enneagram 1 coming through. We are very motivated by justice and sometimes motivated uh by fun. So I like having fun. I am very highly fun motivated, not Enneagram 7 level fun motivated, but I am very fun motivated. So um and this is very fun. Question: Who is your favorite villager on your Animal Crossing island? Are there any villagers you're trying to get? I haven't even looked at who's new. Marshall is my favorite villager on my island. Marshall is a diva, and I live. Okay, we're at 1.5K likes. All right, let's see if we can bump that up a little bit, and we'll do Lawyer Cat as I say goodbye because I'm going to have to wrap up. Thank you for the retweet of DEF CON Red photo. You're welcome. It was fantastic. I love what do you think about Kim smiling in her new mugshot? I haven't looked at the new mugshot. It is always odd to me when people smile in their mugshots. I don't know the thought process. I've never had a mugshot taken. We hope to never do that. I don't know the thought process behind smiling in a mugshot. And I was critical of Josh Duggar doing it too. I'm like, you were just convicted. I don't know if it's shock. I don't know if it's not knowing how to act. I don't know if it's like, I'm okay. I don't know. I don't know. Like, I don't know. It's weird to me. So I haven't seen that one, but yeah. We can get the whole clip of Fred's paw on your camera on social, or did you cut the clip? No, it's in the podcast episode that went up yesterday. It's in that podcast episode. I have not clipped it down for social, but I can. So, have Harry Potter movie on in background and thinking of Fred and George. Love Harry Potter. They always feel Christmassy to me. And my husband and I always watch Avatar on Christmas, which is a strange habit that I will tell you about our most stressful Christmas moment in a minute. I'm gonna have to see. I wonder if he's hold on. Mind your A-word devices real quick. Echo, drop in kitchen. I was chief in the ICU and had pink hair tattoos. I love that so much. Dr. B. Ask him if I can tell the story and have him come in. Dr. B. Oh, he's not there. Echo cancel. I wonder if he's upstairs. We'll see if he's upstairs. Hold on. Let's see if he's upstairs. Let's see. Dr. B. Dr. B. Hey, G, is your dad up there? Yeah. Can you have him come here? I'm on live stream. No, I want dad to come here. I want to tell a story with him if he's available. I'm still live. I want to see if he says the same thing I say. Will you ever run for office? I really like what I'm doing now. That feels very stressful. I don't know what I would run for office on. All of you suck. Do better. Put the people first. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. I have a Christmas story that we're going to absolutely share. Question: Alec Baldwin search warrant. How is the privilege of his text with attorneys handled in the search of the device? That is a very good question. They should not be retained, but it will dump all of their texts. But this is also why attorneys tend to email and phone call and not text with their clients about anything of significance. Dr. B, I hear you. I am live. I don't want to drop this on you last second because I don't know if you want to be on camera, and you do not have to be. I was going to share a Christmas story about the year that our TV broke while we were wrapping presents and watching a movie. Would you like to join me for that story? You do not have to. Yes, you look very handsome.
I'm not in makeup.
I mean, you're like, he's like, my hair's not done. I need a hat. Like he is not prepared. His mic's not plugged in. We're going to have to just share this one, but that's going to be fine. But I want to see if you remember this story. Yay. And I haven't changed lenses, so you're going to be a little blurry. I apologize. Your hair's not bad.
I'm gonna keep my hair off camera.
Your hair cannot. Well, your hair can stay off camera. You look like you have a very big forehead. Your brother's gonna text you and be like, "Your forehead's as big as mine is." That's no shade, Chris. We love you. So, Christmas. We normally watch TV or movies while we wrap gifts. Do you know where this is going?
I do, but you didn't even go with what movie do we usually watch?
Well, we weren't watching that movie at that time because we were watching something on TV. But I did already tell them that we normally watch Avatar every year, and we watch Love Actually every year. And we really enjoyed the Love Actually kind of episode of Ted Lasso.
Oh, absolutely.
That we just watched.
That's hilarious.
So hopefully you guys can hear Dr. B okay. This is our last story, and then I'm going to have to sign off soon. I'm going to do a few more questions and then sign off. But we were watching a movie on Cinemax. And
Cinemax or Skinemax?
It was Cinemax when we were watching it. We started watching movies after our kids went to bed at like 8 o'clock, maybe, because they were little.
Yeah.
Because like T was getting Skylanders that year. Like it was back when Skylanders was big. And something was going on with the TV and we were trying to fix it. But I was really, really riled up about it because he was getting like his whole present was Skylanders.
Not just Skylanders, but like the
packets and the things. Like the whole Christmas was revolved around a game for the PlayStation.
Wait, which version of Skylanders was it?
I don't remember. I don't know.
Okay. All right.
Was it before we had G?
Yeah, I think so.
Or was G a baby?
If he was a wee.
A baby.
Yeah.
It might have been before we had G.
So he was probably
4? No.
3.
No, we didn't buy him Skylanders when he was 3. He would have been like 5 or 6.
Okay.
So G was probably a baby. Yeah. Anyway, we were up wrapping gifts. Something broke on the TV while we were wrapping. And we couldn't get the TV to turn off. The TV went to a complete blank screen, but the audio wouldn't go off. And Cinemax had clicked over to Cinemax After Dark. So as we are trying to figure out the TV, Cinemax is playing adult content over our speakers on our surround sound.
Was it all brown chicken?
Why are you asking? You were there.
I don't even remember.
You don't remember? Oh, like it was lots of moaning, and wet noises. And
oh my God, that sounded just disgusting. Oh my God. Oh.
If I make the noises, they will get clipped onto the internet.
No, but when you just said like wet, I'm glad you didn't say like wet
macaroni in a pot.
Good thing you didn't say like wet moist noises because that would have been worse.
But you did.
Yeah, well.
Macaroni in a pot noises. WAP noises happening.
Macaroni being stirred in a pot. You have to put the stir.
The lyric from WAP is macaroni in a pot.
Who's WAP?
What?
Who's WAP?
The song by You've watched the music video with the snakes.
All right. Clearly, you think I remember a lyric from a song that I saw once when I was probably enthralled. I mean, the snakes. Like, I didn't even hear the lyrics. Okay, so macaroni.
I can understand why you didn't hear the lyrics.
Macaroni in a pot. No, those are the noises. Got it. Moving on.
Anyway,
and you thought it was a good idea to bring me in? Wow, I've derailed this show as fast as possible.
The stream killer. But no, so the macaroni in a pot noises over the TV. Well, we couldn't fix the TV. I think I was up till like 2 a.m. trying to fix the TV because of the video game. We finally figure out that it was not the TV, it was the whole box that we had for the TV, because it was all the inputs going into the box and then the surround sound coming out of the box. So whatever that box is, I don't even remember what it's called. We've gone to like an Apple TV plus a sound bar now, but we had a much more complex system back in the day with like all the different inputs for the video games, and that box had gone out. So once we unplugged the box and plugged to the TV or plugged to the game directly into the TV, we fixed it. But then, so up till like 2 a.m. with the bow chicka bow wow noises, trying to fix this fucking TV. I was so stressed out. I was so tired. And the next morning we get up and he's so excited about Skylanders. It's literally all he wanted for Christmas. And we go to plug it in and the fucking portal was broken. the Skylanders game we have, the portal was broken. So I spent Christmas Day driving around to Targets in Los Angeles trying to find Skylanders. And I did in Inglewood near the now football stadium.
What Target is open on Christmas Day? Really? That is just a Christmas tragedy.
I mean, unless you don't celebrate Christmas and want to go to Target when there's nobody there. It might have been the 26th that we went to Target.
Yeah, I think so.
It might have been the next day because we had to go over to my parents' house and do Christmas. It might have been the 26th.
I think it was.
I don't remember.
It was.
It all conflates time. Time awareness is not my strong suit. Not that you would ever believe that, but
no, I don't. But clearly for
time
me,
awareness is not my strong suit.
I don't even remember all those details.
You weren't the one driving around all the Targets.
Well, no, I mean I don't even remember the details of the TV went out.
I was traumatized.
That it was only sound and it was macaroni and cheese.
I
don't remember any of that.
So traumatized. I was so traumatized.
Probably what ended up happening is because you stayed up to figure out what was going on and I went to bed.
Probably. Yeah. That's probably what happened. Yeah. I wasn't going to say it. But I'm glad you did.
It's kind of hanging there.
Matt Arnold said, you said you like tech, but have you ever done the Linux thing? I have never used Linux. I am aware of it. When I did stuff for the DA's office, we always had detectives and stuff. I've partitioned many a computer, but I've done Windows partitions on Apples and stuff like that. I've never used a Linux partition. So anyway, Tiffany Linwood was like, pin your YouTube at the top of all of your socials. I will do that for Monday for sure. I'm well behind on the chat, so we're going to try to catch up and see what everybody said. Don't judge.
I'm not.
It's busy.
Yeah.
My hubby and I watch Avatar while wrapping Christmas presents. Yeah. Dawn, so do we.
Well done.
Cheers.
And you know another good thing about Avatar?
People are very excited to see.
Do you know what it's good for wrapping presents?
Die Hard is a Christmas movie. He was watching that earlier.
I was actually watching the end of it. When
you were trying to watch Die Hard with the kids, and I had to explain that it's a rated R movie. Brian doesn't have a concept of ratings.
What? There's maybe a little blood. There's a little.
Okay, just because our oldest is 13 going on like 37. Our youngest is 9 going on like a very cheerful 6. He's a very young soul. It's his first time around. He's a Labrador.
Do you know why
he's an Enneagram 7?
Do you know why Avatar is great for wrapping presents?
Because it's long.
Boy, is that movie long. And we always are like 3 a.m. wrapping presents. Oh my God.
There was the one Christmas where we were out in like at least 50-degree weather, windy, building a house on our deck.
Yes.
In the mist.
I think we were out there till about 4 a.m.
We did not plan that well, but we were bound and determined to build an entire outdoor playhouse. So it would be a surprise on Christmas morning. I swear to God, that kid played in that house maybe 6 times. In the entire time we had it. In the years that we had it, maybe 6 times.
Yeah.
Isn't that always the way?
Should have just given him the cardboard box that it came in. He would have been super
excited.
It
came in like a pallet.
I know.
Yep. So the chat is like the chat's just like dying. The noises. We described the noises appropriately. What noises? Like, macaroni in a pot. So I'm gonna have to show Dr. B we're gonna have to have a conversation about WAP after this.
About who?
WAP.
Oh, WAP.
Macaroni in a pot. We will have that conversation.
Got it.
But Dr. B,
Thank you.
We'll
you just gave me the bless your heart.
It wasn't a sarcastic bless your heart. It was just like, you're so wholesome that you're like, I don't know the lyrics to Cardi B music, Emily. I'm too busy listening to my bromance podcast and not yours.
I listen.
Not mine.
I won't even say.
You can say.
No. I was going to try and say I listen to your podcast every day, but I
Yep, you don't.
Yeah.
Do you want to share your favorite podcast?
Why would I listen to it when I get to live with it? I live with it every day. I don't need to sit on a podcast.
He says it sweetly, but he's like, no, I live with it every day. I don't need to listen to it in a podcast because I sang Backstreet Boys on this week's podcast.
Oh, you did?
Yep.
Darn. Which song?
Well, you can watch.
Oh, wow.
If you guys haven't watched this week's podcast,
that's a lot of work.
I drop into a Backstreet Boys song. JC said, I love how Dr. B chaotic makes M's ADHD not look so bad.
Hold on now. Let me pull my stool up a little more.
Jay, you're the greatest.
One.
Thank you.
Yeah, we need to have a serious talk about that.
You tangent very quickly, and then you're like, I don't know why people can't follow me in conversation. Sometimes your brain moves faster than the rest of us.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. I think that was a compliment.
Target is closed on Christmas. It must have been. Then it must have been the 26th.
Yeah, it was the day after.
See, good. All right. Somebody was saying I go to Target during the Super Bowl crowd free. We used to do that on New Year's. So,
but you know the thing I will say about Skylanders, he played the shit out of that game.
He loved that game.
He absolutely loved that game.
I regret
so much
that we sold it because we still have a PlayStation 4 and we could still play Skylanders. But G never got into it, but I think he would enjoy it now.
Oh, absolutely.
And so I'm like,
yeah.
Camilla said your children's hairlines must be off the roof. Look at those hairlines, man. Pardon me for being consumed by physical shapes. Our kids don't have, Griffin has widow's peaks more than T does, but Griffin's got widow's peaks and calyx, but now his hair is doing a whole High School Musical type of a situation. It's his hair, he's wanted longish hair for years, and it's finally in the perfect coiffed do. He loves his hair. T is I don't care, but T's all super, super curly.
My hair's been in a hat most of the day.
Yeah, I know. We don't need to explain. What field of medicine does Dr. B practice? Dr. B is a maxillofacial prosthodontist, retired. So now he's just a doctor of love.
Were you supposed to interject some macaroni and cheese sound in there? In the background? A little something? Wow, chicka, wow, wow.
The crowd went wild.
Oh, thanks.
So, yep. So, Brandis is saying, but it's also an 80s rated R. Is there a scaling system to undo the inflation of the ratings?
Are we talking about Die Hard?
Yes.
Yeah, it is. But there's really, I was upstairs watching it. It didn't seem that bad. A little blood. There's a little skin, little poster skin in there, but little sex, little drugs. But for the most part, it's just all yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
Okay. Lily said, Emily, congrats on becoming a legal analyst for ABC's The Year, airing 2027. Lily, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Anne Rand, I see your super chat. Thank you for sharing. It is a personal choice. I tend to not get super political on the channel, but thank you for sharing.
Atlas Shrugged.
What?
Didn't Anne Rand write Atlas Shrugged?
I think so.
Yes.
Emily says WAP is serious business. WAP is serious business. WAP is very serious
WAP
business.
Actually stand for something? Or is it just part of the lyrics? I told you, you think I actually remember the lyrics? Do I remember the song?
Chat, do we tell him what WAP actually stands for, or do we make something else up? Do we make something else up? Do we tell him, or do we make it up? Please explain.
See, somebody else doesn't know.
No.
Someone else wants to know.
I think they know. No. They know.
No,
they want me to explain it to you.
No, they don't.
Yes.
Okay, well.
They want me to explain it to you. No, they know. They know. Wine and pizza.
There you go.
Artemis said it stands for wine and pizza.
That's a great night right there.
That is a great wine and pizza is a great night.
We got some leftover pizza. Let's open up a bottle of wine.
Please explain. Wow. Somebody just clip it, and somebody said "Sweet Summer Child." The chat has just gone nuts. Okay. WAP equals words are powerful.
Very
Absolutely.
empowering. I like that.
Absolutely.
That is nice.
Do not tell him,
I-
please explain. Tell him. Show him the video right now. I'm not doing that. I will get copyright striked. Macaroni in a pot. That's some WAP. Waffles and
clearly-
Pinot.
So-
Ooh,
that's
white
a-
Alfredo
that's a-
pasta.
that's a mix right there.
Waffles alone in the park. Macaroni in a pot equals WAP. See, Christina, that's exactly. People are like, I genuinely don't know. Okay,
Yes.
fine.
Thank you. Now we get.
Hold on.
All right.
Hold on.
Wait.
You're going to get removed for a second.
What is
They'll
that?
still hear you.
What is that?
This is Lawyer Cat.
Oh.
This is the greatest explanation ever. WAP stands for We Are Professionals.
Well, I think that when I see the video.
No.
All right.
WAP. Okay, we're gonna keep going. There's a few more in here. We're
Wait, why is Lawyer Cat on? Who's Lawyer Cat?
This is Lawyer Cat. They've been asking for Lawyer Cat. So I figured that Lawyer Cat explains WAP might be okay.
Whoever just put up "Wow, a squirrel" is living with Emily. It
Squirrels
is
in my
like-
pants.
It is wow, a squirrel.
That's simp. That was the
20
old school simp.
That
Before
is
simp changes its
24/7.
simp changed its meaning, but simp used to stand for squirrels in my pants.
Squirrels
Squirrels in my pants. Tell me what's making you jump like that. SIMP, squirrels in my pants. So now when people say simp,
booty move like that.
I still think squirrels in my pants. Brian, Dr. B,
Wait, why am I on
WAP.
the camera?
I'm going to put you back on camera in a
Oh.
second.
Oh, this is hilarious. Oh, go ahead. Got it.
WAP stands for wet ass pussy. And that is why Lawyer Cat is on the screen. It is a wet. I am not a cat. But WAP
Are you telling me
stands
people
for
could
wet
sing
cat.
songs with lyrics like that in it?
Oh God, B. Yes. Macaroni in a pot. That's some WAP.
All right, I'm glad
We're
I
gonna
know.
listen to-
I'm glad I
We're
know.
going to listen to WAP again.
We've been a rough night not knowing that.
I'm not going to say it. 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 We'll demonstrative evidence at another time.
Okay. Got it. I'll do that. When the kids go to bed.
Not tonight. We're wrapping presents. There is no WAP.
Yo, there's some wax in that. Oh, yeah.
Nope. I can't believe you forgot what WAP stood for.
I don't even
Standard
think I
for,
ever knew
stood
in
for.
the first place. Do you
Wet cat.
Why do you?
Well, what do you think OPP stands for?
Well, see now that's kind of back in my day. So
Well, what
Yeah.
does OPP stand for?
other people's
Certified
cats.
freak. 7 days a week. Yes.
Other people's cats.
Well, not just other people's cats. The first P rhymes with leanest or meanest. Other people's penis is the first version.
Oh, it is.
Other people's cat is the second version, the second verse.
Oh,
It depends
never picked this
on
up.
which other people's parts you want to pick. You can
Hmm.
pick either parts, equal opportunity parts. OPP means other people's parts, but you
Is
can
that-
pick the parts.
Is that in the original song?
No.
Really?
We're demonetized for sure now that we've gotten into the penis and the pussy
I have
conversation.
never s- I haven't
We are
said-
talking about cats.
Do you remember? I was gonna say I haven't said penis, but do you remember the?
You just
the-
did.
Yeah, well, penis. Do you remember the story that was told about Travis?
I don't know where this is going, and I'm
So-
nervous.
no, don't. put this.
I'm deeply
No, you gotta-
nervous.
You gotta take. well, I'll wait till that.
I'm nervous.
So when we went to parent-teacher conference for Travis,
Which grade?
third, second,
Which teacher?
can we say?
Mhm.
I don't remember her name. So we'll say third grade. We'll say third grade.
The one that starts with the I and wore very high heels and was adorable, and I
Yes.
adored.
Yes.
Third grade.
So-
No.
Yes, third grade.
Second grade.
Second grade. Okay. So we go
Second grade.
to parent-teacher conference for Travis in second grade, and everything goes great, all sorts of things.
Loved Travis's
Yeah.
second grade. Loved Travis's
At
second
the end of
grade.
it, she asked, "Do you have any questions about your son?" And I'm like, "Yes, actually, I do."
Okay,
Tell-
by the way, hold on. I'm just going to say, I did not know he was going to do this. He asks the greatest parent-teacher conference questions ever. This is my favorite one. Just take it, put it in a box, and you're good.
So ask her, I said, "Tell me something about my son that I wouldn't know because you see him at school and I don't." And she's like, "Oh, wow, that's probably the greatest question I've ever gotten. And I need to stall for a moment to think of something." She goes, "I have it." She goes, "A couple weeks ago, Travis came to me and he said, Mrs. Someone said shit on the playground. And I know we're not supposed to say shit at school. Shit is one of those words that we are not supposed to say. And he said shit repeatedly on the playground. I know shit's a word we're not supposed to say, but shit, God damn it." No, he didn't say that part. But he's like,
Shit! It's
Yeah.
shit! I'm telling you.
and
Shit.
she's like, "I did everything I could not to just start laughing because he just let a line of shits fly out of his mouth. Like there was just shit flying
She
out of
said
his mouth."
that he seemed kind of thrilled that he got to say that somebody had said the word because he just wanted to say it.
Yes. Over and over.
Yeah.
and over.
My oldest is also an Enneagram 1. He is a rule follower. So he said it. Yeah, he said it as much as he could because he could say it in the context of being a rule follower. It was kind of like me in court when somebody, and I'm like, so did he really say, blah, blah, blah. And I'm not going to say, yeah, I'm me trying to repeat criminal threats with cursing. But when I was in trial and you got to repeat like criminal threats with cursing, it's like, so when he said blah, 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 did you feel like he meant blah, 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 blah? How many times can I say motherfucker in this direct examination? Always made me happy. I was pretty good about not cursing at work. As a lifeguard, occasionally it would slip out when I was like yelling at someone to stop running. It's like, I said, stop fucking running. And then you're like, oh shit, they're all 7. But it was rare. Now I can just say whatever I like. It is time for us to say goodnight to the law nerds and get our children to go to bed.
The number of people on here already fallen off.
Well, you came on to stream and it was like, no, it's the holidays. We came on to have a celebratory stream and talk about ABC. And how was the ABC experience for you? Was it fun having hair and makeup come over in the morning? And well, for me, you were like,
I mean,
it
oh
was
my
like,
God,
whatever.
It was so thrilling. It was so exciting to have you in the bathroom with 2 other people while I was upstairs doing something. We
have a large enough bathroom to do hair and makeup, which was
It
actually
was-
really helpful to have hair and makeup at the house. It was great.
such a thrilling day.
It was fun.
Yes.
Are you excited for Christmas?
Oh, absolutely.
I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm ready for Avatar.
We got our kids some fun stuff. I'm excited. I'm excited for a slow day. I'm sad that, it's hard being away from family at the holidays, but having travels during the holidays and is hard. So I'm excited my parents and my brother and sister-in-law get to be together.
So I'm actually excited for a gift for the kids, but I think I'm going to be far more excited than they are about it. You're supposed to follow in and say, "Oh, I'm sorry. What is that?"
I don't, because
Yeah.
some of their friends watch the stream, even though I told them not
no,
to.
they won't know. No, those kids, they're in bed by now. So do you want me not? I can't say. Do we have to wait till afterwards?
You want to go ahead? Go ahead.
Certainly, I don't want to spoil the surprise.
We'll share it on social media on Christmas.
Pogo stick. I got them a kick-ass pogo stick. Not that rickety one that you had when you were a kid and had the spring and it made all sorts of noise and it was hard. and
You
your
wanted a
teeth-
pogo stick.
Your teeth like chattered out of your mouth. No, this one's like an air piston
He can't
kick-ass
help himself.
pogo stick. Oh my God. I am so excited. I can't wait.
I can't wait for the Christmas present we bought for ourselves. It's not the coffee maker to get here.
Yeah.
So
But the coffee maker's good.
the coffee maker's really good. I'm very excited. I'm very excited for coffee tomorrow. I got my favorite Trader Joe's sweet cream coffee creamer because it was back in stock. And I'm very excited for coffee tomorrow. I also got a pumpkin cream cold brew from Starbucks this morning because miraculously there was one Starbucks in my area that still has it, and I was thrilled. Thank you to the Starbucks on Carruthers. It was fantastic. So yes, Dr. B got himself a pogo stick apparently.
Yep. I did. It's going to be fun.
If you hurt yourself, I'm going to be so pissed.
Why do you
I'm
have-
going to be eternally angry. Forever. He's like, it's fine. We're just jumping. I think it'll be fun for G and T.
And me.
And for you. I see one last question that I'm going to answer real quick. There are 2 episodes of the Emily Show on the podcast about this. One called Leaving LA and one called Why Tennessee. So we have we have 2 parts about that. So I've talked about it for sure. I'm glad we did. I love it here. You are just reading the chat in silence.
No,
You love it here
I
too?
was
perhaps?
waiting to. Do we go into detail? Do you not go into detail? Do you
No,
just
I
leave it
was
as
saying
is?
I'm happy that we
Yeah.
did. There's 2 episodes where I talk about it. It's great. And for ABC, it is Monday I will be sharing on social. Mr. Unicorn says, I just want a husband for Christmas, very low maintenance. Mr. Unicorn, I think that statement in and of itself is an oxymoron. Husbands require quite a great deal of work. They are not low maintenance at all.
What? I'm not the one who had people doing hair and makeup.
No,
coming
there's a
over.
difference between
No.
physical maintenance and maintenance.
Oh,
However, that said, our 13-year-old did make dinner tonight, so I feel like the maintenance is now a family thing. I very much appreciated that. I'm very excited. I'm very, very excited. But no, I love it here. I hope you love it here.
no, I do. It is good.
I know you
is.
do.
Like we're amazed in the times of the year where like I can't believe it's so green.
Yeah, and it's nice that it's cold. I just love it.
Except
Casey said moved from New Jersey to Nashville. I'll always have a special place for New Jersey, but it's way better here. I agree with you. Again, we both grew up in the same hometown. And the South Bay in California will always hold a very special place in my heart. I just didn't want to live there anymore. And even going back to visit causes a bit of anxiety, but being here just feels like home, and being able, tomorrow to get out with the kids outside and go for a hike and just be outdoors and then come home and put on a fire and get cozy for the day and make cookies. I'm really excited for it. So, and it's cold during Christmas instead of 80 degrees. It's so lovely.
Since we're talking about New Jersey, still my favorite vacation that we've ever gone on.
To Jersey?
Mm-hmm.
To the shore?
To the shore.
The Jersey Shore is epic.
That trip to the Jersey Shore, Travis was 3.
I was pregnant. Yeah, it wasn't the best trip.
You stayed with your folks, relatives from Jersey.
Our relatives from Jersey.
That was one of, and then Will and Tracy.
Nope. Will and Tracy weren't together.
Oh, wait,
nope.
Just
wait.
No.
They were there. That's right. No, they were there. They were there for
lifeguards.
lifeguards. They had just started dating. You have a better memory than me on this. They had just started dating. Yes.
Because we went mini golfing a number of times, and Travis, for months afterwards, would still remember what color golf ball people were using.
He loved it.
Yeah.
The Jersey Shore is spectacular. Ocean City, New Jersey, particularly. And I love that you have happy memories of that trip. I didn't love being pregnant. So traveling while pregnant was not my favorite.
I mean,
I love that you guys had so much fun.
And this was definitely pre-Jersey Shore.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, it was.
No, it wasn't.
Was it? Yeah, it was.
No, it wasn't.
Oh, absolutely.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah.
What? Hold on.
No, it was.
No, it was not. No, it was not.
When the Jersey Shore came out, we're like, oh, we've been to the Jersey Shore. It's so much fun. I'm telling you.
What year did Jersey Shore first air? Jersey Shore first aired December 3rd, 2009. 2008. And this was like 2011, 2012. This was the summer of 2011.
How did I get off on that date?
But my parents met working at the Jersey Shore. So the Jersey Shore does hold a special place in our family's hearts, and is still the best bagel sandwich in the world we have ever had. Is in Jersey.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, the Taylor pork roll.
Oh no, not Taylor pork roll for me. Mine was always egg and bacon, but the bagels are special. Jersey, New York, the bagels are different. The bagels are different. Yeah. The bagels are different. It's why the Talk of Shame has been on a year-long She moved from New York to LA. She runs a great Instagram account covering all of the tea for housewives and has been on like a bagel tour of LA to try to find a bagel that compares to East Coast bagels. And I don't have the heart to say there is something in the water it will not compare. I'm sorry. But trying to. Jennifer K, thank you so much. How long until Emily hides the pogo stick? I'll keep y'all posted on social. Brian does not check Instagram and or Twitter, so I'll let y'all know. He'll never know. We'll talk about it on the podcast, and he'll never know. Wildwood, New Jersey is where it's at for a trip to the shore. Gay Void, I appreciate that. Being pregnant and not able to drink, Ocean City felt like my pace because the boardwalk is epic. I have not gotten to Wild Out in Wildwood, New Jersey. So, Dr. B should know by now not to argue with a lawyer. The problem is Dr. B has known me since I was an undergrad. So he remembers the days before I became a lawyer. And
those are the days when I actually used to win an argument.
No, I don't think you ever won an argument. That's not true. You have won plenty an argument because I am not always right. Do not clip this and put it on the internet. Just kidding. We're already on the internet. But again, we've been married for 20 years. We're not always right all the time. Thank you, Ashley, for the catnip tip. Merry Christmas to you as well. Thank you. All right, we are going to say goodnight to y'all. Merry, merry, merry for those who celebrate. We will be back next week. I am doing one stream next week. There will be a new podcast next week and then new podcast in the new year. In the new year, we will be talking about favorite cases from the year. I will be chatting with the members and the Patreons about some of your favorite moments from the year. And on Monday, ABC's The Year 2021. If you guys aren't following me on the social medias, at the Emily D. Baker, your girl's goal for 2022 is verification. I like external validation. I need a blue check mark. I'm just saying. I would like to verify myself.
I heard a pronoun there when you said we.
Mm-hmm.
Does that mean us? Or because if that's the case, I'm actually
royal. It's the royal we. A lot of the we is
a little more presentable.
Most of the time when I say we, I mean me and the Lawnards. The Lawnard community. Yeah, if you would like to stream, you are welcome to come join. I'll just give you a heads up.
Yeah, thank you.
You don't have to. So, but I generally mean the royal.
Okay. Is that the royal wave?
Yes.
Okay.
You can't just do this all the time. It's like all meat hooky. This is just No, I'm fluffing my aura instead.
You look so much better.
My aura has been fluffed. I didn't know that was a thing, but Real Housewives of Salt Lake City this year has brought the Whitney Rose aura fluffing to me at all. Chat, Law Nerds, I appreciate you. Thank you for all of your support. Thank you for all of your wishes this year. Thank you absolutely for the love and the appreciation on social media. Look, this community is my favorite community on the internet. We are Law Nerds for a reason. It is so we can have compassionate conversation. Thank you for being true to that. Not everyone will understand it, but for those that do, it makes it the most special place on the internet, and everyone else can just kind of yeet thyself. Appreciate you. Thank you. Merry, Merry Christmas. We are out. I will be sharing on social media a little, but I will be very slow on social because we are taking a slow Christmas with family. We've got board games to play. We have Mallin's cinnamon buns to eat. We have coffee to drink and and Animal Crossing to play. Let's be absolutely 100% transparent. I will see all of you next week before the new year I will see on Wednesday. So I will see you after Monday's airing and I will be on social to talk about it. So anything else you want to say?
Nope.
Bye all.
Happy holidays.
We're gonna roll the outro. Thank you for being here. Connect with me everywhere. I'm at the Emily D. Baker. If you guys want to join the text, just text Emily.com. If you want to join the channel, LawNerdsUnite.com. Happy to have you. Support what we do here on the YouTube.